What's up, guys? Your girl Luca here, back with another Scummers on Oneers with some special guests. We got Cassie here,
Hi guys, what's up?
and then we have Singer once again.
Sup, chat.
All right, so we have a variety of topics to go through. Did I have a tweet up
No.
so I could?
I
No,
don't think so.
look
Hold
at
on.
what ridiculous. Like I started typing and then it just went someplace else, man. Oh God, what a hassle! All right,
It's a good conversation.
for sure, dude. Let me turn my keyboard back on. What's up, guys? Talking about the possible prejudice origins of the JRPG.
Oh, that's a stupid ass
What is it, moniker?
genre,
Michael?
subgenre.
Woo, Forte.
I'd
What
say.
up, though?
What's up, bro?
All right.
Living. That's all we can
I
do.
feel you, man. Making the best of it, right?
Living. That's all we can do.
True. Controversy. Did I spell controversy right? Nope. Money versus looks.
CONTROVERSY.
Oh my goodness, thank you. But yeah, so guys, listen, I don't know. But what's up, Nautical? How you doing?
Here representing Scum Family.
Hey, we're all
No.
repping something today. It seems
Rip a
like.
For real though.
No, just coming up on the very end of the vacation. I'm looking Monday right in the face, like, oh man, I gotta go back to work on Monday.
Oh my god,
It's hard.
I did tweet it out. I just didn't notice. I'm such a silly goose. I'm just a silly little goober. All right, so what's up, Stardust, Spencer, Dom? Oh, Lika saying, how's it going, everyone? Joining in from South Africa. Welcome. What's up,
Well,
guys? How are
awesome.
we doing
Cool.
this fantastic evening? There are so many things that I want to talk about today. And, you know, we're going to... Oh, I just noticed you're wearing the LOS. Okay, Legion. I know that's fucking right.
I know.
Appreciate it. You know, I got that little thing. Okay, anyway, we just move on from that. But, all right. So, this conversation about JRPGs has popped up recently. I just got a message from somebody. Okay, JRPGs has popped up recently, and I must admit, I was a little surprised when I saw it, especially when I heard the actual clip. Essentially, Skill Up was doing an interview. He asked Yoshida, what's his first name?
Okay.
Naoki. Okay, so Naoki Yoshida, a question about if they're moving away from the JRPG. Here, where is that nonsense? Moniker, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. All right. Okay, so Yoshida was asked about how JRPGs have advanced in comparison to action games. Okay, and then Skill Up was talking about how Yoshida-san got like really quiet for a second, and then was visibly uncomfortable with the phrase. So one thing Yoshida-san wants to get across is that when we create games, we don't go into them thinking we are creating JRPGs. Oh my god, your cat. Whose cat is that? Is that yours?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Is he good?
Meow.
He wants to get out so he can go cause trouble.
Yeah. Well, if you could just mute when you're not talking, it'd be much appreciated, my dear.
No problem, buddy.
So cute, though. Okay. Okay. Arcade Leaky, what's up? Okay.
Meow.
All right. Let me just go ahead and continue with this topic. Okay. So we don't go into them thinking we're creating JRPGs. We are just creating RPGs. The term JRPG is used by Western media, then users and media in Japan, said localization director Koji Fox. Yoshida went on to explain that for many Japanese developers, the term was considered discriminatory when it first appeared 15 years ago. He said that this is going to depend on who you ask, but there was a time when the term first appeared 15 years ago. And for us developers, the first time we heard it, it was like a discriminatory term. Although we were being made fun of, as though we were being made fun of for creating these games. And so for some developers, the term JRPG can be something that will maybe trigger bad feelings because of what it was in the past. It wasn't a compliment to a lot of developers in Japan. We understand that recently JRPG has better connotations and it's being used as a positive, but we still remember the time when it was used as a negative. Mind you, he like went on this little tirade, which is his right. Okay, had every right to do that. Out of nowhere, like nobody was talking about the possible sketchy terminology. Like it's first of all, Yoshida-san is old as dust, so like, dude, it's been years. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm not dismissing or denying his feelings. I definitely think that there were people in the media who were making sketchy remarks and sketchy comments about JRPGs. People still do that to this day, but there's no but. People still do it to this day. You know what I'm saying? That being said, what kind of media was making the remarks? Oh, Western media? Okay, so there's that differentiator there, right? So what, I mean, are we not supposed to be able to say that these are Japanese RPGs? Like what's going on there?
The thing is, like, you have to understand, RPG originated in the 70s in the West with the creation of Dungeons and Dragons. That is the creation of RPG. Now, as time went on from the 70s, people created different genres. So you started having CRPGs, then you had some action RPGs. And instead of just calling them RPGs, the RPG community coined genres. Like you have, would you call a first-person shooter and a third-person shooter? Because they're different. Action RPG is different to a CRPG. Now, a Japanese developed game, well, you'd call that a JRPG because it's a Japanese role-playing game.
And that's not always the case with every game.
No.
That's an RPG that comes out of Japan. I mean, look at would you classify Elden Ring as a JRPG as we understand it?
That would be an action RPG.
Okay. Would you classify Tales of Arise as a JRPG as we understand it? Tales is also an action RPG.
Yeah. I mean, personally, for me, it's like when I use the term JRPG, it's simply because it's made in Japan. Like that's really kind of what it falls under, and it's not in any malice. I actually look forward to any form of RPG, if it be action based or turn based from Japan, because naturally it kind of piques my interest.
I think that's how everybody, for the most part, was kind of thinking about it. Like I was, when we talked about this on DPS, I was like, this, especially this conversation, this is something that's been kind of ingrained in society, for us at least, since the mid 90s. I'm like, where was this conversation a decade ago? I mean, I understand that, people have the right to feel how they want to feel about things, but I'm like, why now, when this is something that's been going on for literally the entire time that I've been playing a lot of these type of games? That's the thing that I didn't get.
The thing that the JRPG moniker only came about because you had to segment. There were so many different RPGs. You have to sort them. There has to be a way to sort them, a system to classify them. Like a shooter is a shooter, but then you have a third person, a first person, a cover based. You have a turn-based shooter. There's even there's so many different subgenres to the genre. So it was just a way to sort them. This game, Final Fantasy, was made in Japan, so let's put it under the category of JRPG.
Yeah, but you don't have JFPS. You get what I'm saying?
Can you name a Japanese FPS?
But then you also
have, can you name it? Like yeah,
they don't make any.
Yeah, I think establishing a subgenre in general, like if the subgenre it becomes super popular, like for example Souls-like games, like they do get coined in some way, shape, or form.
Well, Souls-like is technically under the RPG genre. It's a subgenre.
Yes.
But I've never heard okay, maybe it's just me, but I've never heard anyone refer to any of the Souls games or maybe Sekiro, but no, not even Sekiro. Any of the Souls games as JRPGs. I've just heard them referred to as RPGs. But let me get these super chat members. Shout out to my boy H Dog, bro. I see you put in that work, my boy. Shout out to you, becoming member of the channel. Shout out to Spencer, my boy, saying I always thought JRPGs was just a different genre of RPGs. They were RPGs, but with this Japanese style. Well, that's how most people tend to take it. And then shout out to Tevin for becoming a member of the channel. Also appreciate you. A salute to my boys. Thank you so much, guys. But yeah, so my thing is, and Leaky was like, Tales is a JRPG. Yes, you're correct on that. It's I guess an action JRPG is how you would take it. But here's my thing, right? At the end of the day, as it stands right now, I have this thing about people. this continuous like drudging up the past when nobody is talking about certain things. You know what I'm saying? I had an issue with it when randomly some light-skinned mixed chick was like, you know what's racist? Aunt Jemima. We know, baby, we know it's we know it's fucking racist. But you're some random person who decided to just bring it up, and then it became like this huge random issue. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what? Why are you even talking about this? Why is this even like a concern? As it stands right now, the connotation surrounding JRPG, most of us are not thinking of it in a negative light. Now, the people who are thinking of it in a negative light are already just racist. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to change them from being racist. It's just not going to happen, right?
Yeah, the term is not the problem. It's the person saying the nonsense that's the problem. Like if I say, man, like, you know, X thing, everyone who makes X thing are like a certain like derogatory term. The issue isn't that I coined them all this phrase. It's that I'm saying these negative things about them. Like, you should point your ire towards the actual people who are being racist against Japanese people. I've seen a bunch of stuff back from like a decade ago or more that has come out that people are resurfaced. That's
Some
been
spooky stuff.
some real spooky stuff.
Yeah.
That really got you looking at some people that's still in this community now, like how like, you okay. But it's like the term, like, to go back to what Yoshi P's comments were, he even said it. Then he said when the term was created, and it's like that may have been the first time he heard JRPG, but that's not where the term was created. So it's like if the term, it has a original use and it was created for a specific use, and that's always been the use. Like, JRPG has never been for lesser than RPG, as if some of these goofies on Twitter have been trying to say. There's never been that what JRPG has been classified as. Then you shouldn't have a problem with people saying JRPG. You should have a problem with some Western media and some other dickheads out here treating Japanese games as if they're lesser than.
Yeah, and
Which
like,
is stupid.
That's where his comments is coming from, because his comments is not talking about the origin of it. He's saying like back then, 15 years ago, Japanese developers saw this terminology as a negative connotation because people was throwing it as like, oh, it's probably anime bullshit or whatever. And he even mentioned that, yeah, now, you know, we don't really see it as a negative connotation, but we do remember the times where it was being used to grade our game or to grade what we're creating. So that's why they're saying like they don't use that terminology here over in Japan. I feel like I'm in agreement with everybody in here. I never use JRPG in a negative connotation. I always use like, oh, it's a RPG from Japan. But if a sector of people is saying that they don't like the terminology, you know, I mean, that's their opinion. I don't think we should be like determining like, oh, well, you don't feel the way you should. You know what I mean? Nah, that's how they feel.
his
You know what
feelings
I mean?
are completely valid, and
Yeah.
no one here is dismissing his feelings. That being said, I am saying I don't care about them, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Okay. First of all, you know, shout out to, you know, Yoshida-san. Like,
Hey, yo, Luca, you can't just be changing up your voice talking about. Hey, I don't care. All right.
What? I'm just saying, you know, shout out to him. Let's see here. Where is?
I mean, what you're saying basically is like, we respect his opinion, we respect his feelings, but we ain't gonna stop saying JRPG because you have like some weird, like really one-off feeling about it. That's not really like how anybody has been actually using it. From the people that majority use the term, like the term JRPG, we're talking about. Hey, look,
it's like the N-word, right? You know,
no,
what I mean? Some people,
No, it's not.
No, Jay, stop.
Because
no,
like
it's not
you,
like
okay,
the
I'll
N-word.
give you an
We can't do that.
example.
Some
Wait,
people
no,
don't
no,
view
I'll
it-
give you.
some
I'll
people
give you an
don't view it
example.
as a bad
All
thing.
right, I will give you an example. I'll give you an example. You can say Japanese. People can't say the N-word. Not everybody can say the N-word. So Cassie down there, she could say JRPG, which is a Japanese RPG. It's not a problem. But I mean, I'm not even going to continue with the little analogy there. But I'm just saying, like, it's not the same kind of thing. And here's my thing. When I say it, like, I respect his opinion, and like, you know, he's free to feel however he wants. The reason why I say I don't care is because when they did an interview asking asking Yoshida-san, what's up? Are we going to see any black people or people in color in general in these games? We got like a whole, like this long ass spiel basically where he's just like, no. Like, no, we're not doing that.
He said it will break the immersion.
And look at this. This is a difficult question. Why is asking if there's going to be any black characters a difficult fucking question?
It's a difficult question when you ain't got a legitimate
you
reason.
ain't got no answer for it.
Like, why is that a difficult question? So it's like some people could view his viewpoints here as racist. I personally do not care. I'm of the mind that if you don't want to include a certain set or category of people in your games, that is perfectly fine. That is your right, is your prerogative as creators of the game. I would not want to be, I wouldn't want anyone to feel like they have to include some element or aspect of diversity in order to try to appeal instead of it coming from a genuine place. He went on this little spiel where he's just like, we're going in medieval Europe, incorporating historical, cultural, political, anthropological standards that were prevalent at the time. Mind you, that this is a game that has giant fucking chickens running around. Chocobos, is that what they're called? You know, mind you, this is that kind. I mean, actually, you know, those things actually. Okay, let me not get into it. Right, but he's talking about like historical context.
I think they're meaning more for the main cast of characters. Not saying that they won't be in there, but he's talking about is like why aren't there like like black people or whatnot in the main cast, and that's why he's giving this long ass answer, because
he's talking about how it's not rooted in reality, and it's just like
it's not rooted
neither
in
is the game. The game itself is not rooted in reality, Bar.
And it actually is rooted in reality, which is like he was even wrong in that because he doesn't even know medieval Europe like that. So it's like, why even make this answer if you didn't do the actual research yourself to actually know what is and isn't, what kind of people were in an area during a specific time period. It's just like, I think there's one segment there where he like two sentences, if he just would have kept it to that, then it would have been like, thank you for your answer. But essentially the part where he was like, we basically were saying we were afraid of the kind of reaction that would happen if we had black people as like a protagonist or an antagonist, the kind of stereotypes and all kinds of other things and reactions that people may have about that. Basically saying they didn't want to hear about people saying, oh, you got a token black guy in this role, oh, you did this, or why you got the black people as the bad guys, that kind of thing. And so they just said, you know what, skip, we ain't gonna do it at all. So look, if that's your opinion about it, you just said, I'm a punt. I'm just going to pass on this entire like diversity thing, period. Okay, that's your choice. But like to make up this fake history that ain't real history, nah, fam, you don't know what you're talking about. Like,
so he says in a game that by design allows player to experience the conflict and struggle firsthand through dynamic, realistic battles. Sure. It can be challenging to assign distinctive ethnicities to either antagonist or protagonist without triggering audience preconceptions, inviting unwarranted speculation, and ultimately stoking flames of controversy. Bro was like, we're too afraid to include in our goddamn games. You know what I'm saying? Which, again, I completely understand this perspective, because even in games that feature black characters that do not focus on any aspect of race, people will still bring race up. Give most recent example, Frey. Frey was minding her whole ass business, you know what I'm saying? Escaping gangland, New York, going to her fantasy world. And the primary focus was not on her race, but there were still people in the media like, I mean, why didn't they talk about her race? Like, why wasn't that a factor in the game? People are still going to talk about it. People are still going to focus on it. And then the conversation will come up, of course, where people are like, well, you guys think this game is bad because it has a black lead, or you guys think this game is bad because it has a gay lead. Like, those conversations pop up and they're just like, bro, we don't want to deal with that shit. Basically is what Homeboy is saying. This concept of, well, there's no black people in medieval historical Europe is a lazy answer in itself, because that's been disproven forever ago. So it's just like, he didn't even put forth the proper fake research in order to say, yeah, we just don't want to do this. So again, his perspective and their perspective, as with the categories of JRPGs being considered racist, listen, baby, I'm all for it. You can feel however you want to feel. I respect it, whatever, right? But I don't care. Genuinely speaking, I don't care, especially since as it stands right now, most people do not have that negative connotation there. And the people who do are just fucking racist assholes anyway. And listen, as a bot, as former bot, whatever y'all want to call me, I don't know, as a bot, especially early on, a few years back, I saw people calling folks. Should I even say it? I can't even say it. I'm just gonna type it in the chat.
Yeah, don't. 'Cause there was some words thrown around for sure.
Okay, it has rice in it and something else. Okay, people were saying
you and Death Singer, you're kind. That's why I'm kind of shocked.
Wait, hang on a minute. Don't put that. Don't put that nowhere near me, my guy.
That's why I'm shocked. I'm shocked about your
Excuse me?
answer.
Yo, what was that?
Okay,
Hang on.
me, sir?
Your
Botulism.
botulism.
My botulism that this is
I
another
have
entirely,
nothing to do with that.
But like
so
I'm just saying, like okay. Let's talk about Persona 5 for a second. Listen, there's my baby boo Joker right there. Does Persona 5 have some things in it that are super sketchy and weird? Yes. Are they things considered super sketchy and weird in Japan? I actually do not know, right? I don't know. I know that otaku culture is not like well regarded, and considering it's like an anime type game, who knows, right? But giant dick monsters, okay, that's just not something you typically see in Western kinds of games, okay?
Luca, I have something to add to that.
Yes.
Coming from the redo a healer, yeah, that's a Japanese thing. So I'm just putting that out there as well. So
redo a healer is a fucking outlier, okay? No, like I understand that people enjoy that light manga, but like that is not the norm, okay? It's definitely not the fucking norm. All right, shout out to True Version with super chat saying he can't put black people in there because they would eat all the chocobos. Giant chicken, lol. Plus a giant car rim is not a good summon. That is, invoking certain stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? So here's my thing. Like, I'm perfectly fine with him feeling however he feels, and we will give a nice example of some. Honestly, I was listening to the clip and I was just like, they were really casual with like the things that they were saying, and first of all, Adam Sessler is crazy in general. But like, let's go ahead and present screen. Okay, here we go.
You're talking about a G4 clip?
Yeah. So this person, Tark's Gauntlet, says some people weren't around when JRPGs were being dragged by mainstream gaming press and have no clue why some devs felt slighted by the term. So I want to take you back to this 2006 Baten Kaitos Origins review from XPlay as an example, salvaged from the Internet Archive. So,
and we all know who will replace us. India, that billion-strong faux vegetarian tech support call-taking behemoth of a nation. Or the Chinese. But certainly not Japan, because while they may be technologically advanced and financially powerful, they're already in decline. You want proof? Here's Baten Kaitos Origins.
I'll write the story. Let me guess. It's probably a young hero with some sort of memory problem who's fighting a vastly overwhelming Evo fascio magical empire. Cliched burden boy of action who will save us all is named Sagi. Rhymes with Saki. Saki! Which I could use a lot of right now.
Sagi.
Saki! And apparently nothing says prequel like improved breast physics on the shopkeepers.
Sagi.
Sake!
Sagi.
Saki! Will you shut up about Sagi?
Sagi.
Saki! 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 Baten Kaitos Origin is an RPG for the GameCube. That's
super obnoxious.
Yes.
And very annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is what people took as humor back in the day, whatever. But anyway, he continues. What did he say? Oh, so he also continued with this right here. He said, "This is gaining traction. So just to clear some things up, the review was about a minute longer and covered some mechanics. The jump cuts should give away that I cut this down. It was for a video I was working on that provided more context. I just reposted the clip here. And the sake joke was played off as I think your drinking problem is affecting your work rather than something strictly / openly racially coded when we return to shots of the host at the end. Whatever the intent, though, it's certainly grating." So there's that added context there. Then Mr. Sessler was like, "Dude is angry. I didn't like his consumer boner simulator in 2006. A truer gamer there never was." And then he starts, he's a weirdo. But like,
Adam
Let me.
Sessler has fell
All
off.
right, let me go ahead and shout out to Persona, saying big shout out to my bro Bari. Shout out to you. Guess what, Bari and Persona?
Yo.
What's this? What's this?
Oh.
Okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? Okay, you know what? What is? Hold on. Let me just okay. What?
Man, that's man.
Nice.
Okay, what's
Yeah,
up,
man.
PlayStation Podcast? You know what I'm saying? Every Saturday, baby booze. You know, you guys got to check it out if you,
Yeah, out
especially
here,
if you
you
are
know,
someone
something light.
Primarily PlayStation focused.
I think
Something
it's,
light.
you know, I think one thing that we didn't mention is that, look, personally, I don't know where the term JRPG originated from. All I know is I don't use it with malice in any way, shape, or form. I look forward to JRPGs. I think that they're some of the best out there, period. But I mean, I think it's worth noting that when it comes to, you know, Japanese roleplay games or like this term in general, if it was indeed created by individuals with malice that
It wasn't,
hate
but-
Japanese games.
It wasn't. No.
If
it
people
wasn't.
think that
wasn't.
that's the case at this point, don't you think that we took it from people that are ignorant and then made it a positive thing? And can we move on from that? I mean, look, like Stalin ate breakfast. Stalin's responsible for a lot of murders throughout, you know, his ruling. Are we going to suddenly stop eating breakfast? No. It's like, to me, that's just like it's we have made this a positive term. I think most people I come across using a positive term. I haven't really come across someone personally in my personal endeavors that uses JRPG in a negative light, and I wouldn't stand for it personally because I really, you know, appreciate JRPGs. I love the games. Japanese creators, I look forward more to their games a lot of the time than I look to American or even Western games entirely. I think that they are more driven in a lot of cases, and I look forward to a lot of their games.
Facts.
Like, I mean,
Yeah, I love me a JRPG. I agree. I've never used it in a negative connotation. I've definitely seen it for sure, especially around PS3 era. You know, social media, you know, creeping up around closing of PS3 era to PS4 and all that stuff. Definitely seen a lot of people using a negative light. I see sometimes when people see a game is a JRPG, they turn it away. They think it's going to be some anime, you know, Shonen Jump bullshit, and you know, they look away from it. Where now, and especially this generation, a lot of people that have been turning away JRPGs, now that they're playing it, they're like, oh shit, I'm actually enjoying this game. You know, I mean, this game is pretty cool. I'm seeing that a lot too. But yeah, like I agree with you guys as far as the usage of it is definitely just a classification thing. It's nothing any, you know, from me, you know, never anything negative. You know, and I've been seeing the term since I was a little kid, especially around like Final Fantasy VII time, where that's when it really popped off. You know what I mean? I was using that term way back then. You know what I mean? But I just feel like he's looking at like a dark time when people were looking at JRPGs as a bad thing. And he said he specified 15 years ago. But all I'm saying is this. Yeah, it's going to be hard for stopping people to use the terminology. It's been ingrained in us for years to this is how we classify, you know, RPGs from a region. But
Yeah. No, I
they're
hear what
looking
you're
at it
saying,
as a
man.
negative thing.
Like, my thing is, like, again, I know that he classified and clarified, Gregor, I know he clarified that it was from 15 years ago. My thing is, why did you bring this up now? This is not the setting for that answer.
Oh no,
like,
he was asked. Skill up.
He was asked if they were moving away from JRPGs and going to action RPGs, and then he went on the spiel where, you know, we don't like the term JRPG. Actually, like, that's not. There's no correlation there with the question. Skill up wasn't like, hey, so what is your issue with the JRPG naming convention?
No, I
Like,
mean, it was a triggering thing. You know what I mean? When
You
he
know, I
said,
mean,
are
he-
you going to turn away from JRPGs that's classifying it as a certain way and go into action RPGs? He's like in the interview, he paused and was like, let me clarify, you know, how we feel about the terminology.
oh no,
JRPG.
I
don't think it's an issue.
understand, but guess whose triggers? Guess who's responsible for his triggers? Himself. Okay, so let me just get this real quick. Okay, so shout out to Sir X-Men saying, Luca, that white blouse was hot on you. Okay, I love the pic. Thank you. All right. Bari, who's been a member for 23 months, saying hit the like button. There was like Plus on the Block podcast has been remembered for 8 months saying, "What's up, panel? Just chilling, enjoying the pod. Appreciate you, my boy. Appreciate you guys." But yeah, no, I like again, I completely understand where he's coming from, and I'm so with him feeling however he wants to feel. I just don't care about his feelings, honestly speaking, because he doesn't care about diversity at all. So it's just like whatever. Diversity only matters in regards to how he shapes it. So allow me to clarify. He went on this giant spiel for anyone new here about why they don't have any black people or people of color in their games, which is perfectly fine. Like again, if they don't want to include that, I would rather they just not include it instead of trying to like pretend like they're actually interested in that. But real quick, so this dude said, wasn't BioWare saying that JRPGs do not evolve while their games devolved into Gears of War with dialogue? 2005 to 2015 were fun times for JRPGs. It was trendy to hate on them at the time. So, Slomo, you had this thing about JRPGs and how they used to be in regards to storytelling and such. Would you like to expand on that?
Say that again, because I was just typing in the chat about something. Sorry, I couldn't do two things at the same time. My bad. Say that again.
Is Final Fantasy 14 the one where you can make your own characters?
Yes, it's an MMO.
Gregor, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, come on, be for real for 1 second here. You know exactly what I'm talking about, man. That's a respectful shut the fuck up because you are my guy. You know that. I said Slow-mo. There's this statement here. I'm sorry, Gregor, man. It just slipped out. But
turn Luca up.
You know, who's responsible for your triggers, Luca? Yourself. But anyway, so Greg says, wasn't BioWare just saying that JRPGs don't evolve while their games evolved into Gears of War with dialogue? And then he was discussing how people used to view JRPGs, and I wanted you to expand. Like, you had something to say about how JRPGs were viewed in regards to their storytelling and compared to Western RPGs back in the day.
Yeah, so like I think I can't remember exactly. It was one of the co-founders of BioWare that said it, but I think he was talking more in terms of like the amount of choice. Now, look, if you go all the way back to like early 90s, Chrono Trigger had a ton of choice. Like you could like, like spoiler alert here, but Chrono dies. You could continue on to beat the game without Chrono, or you could resurrect them, and then like the game had like a dozen endings, right? But not a lot of Japanese RPGs around that time period had multiple endings. Like the story was very very static. There wasn't much in regards to like narrative trees and stuff like that. Stuff that you would get from like say a BioWare, Obsidian, Bethesda RPG, where it's very like free. There's a lot of choice there, and I think that's what they were talking about in particular, which you don't always see anymore now. Like you take Elden Ring for example, where there's 6 different endings actually. So it's like it's not very very accurate towards like today. But when he said that, it had to have been like late 2000s, early 2010s. So it was more along the lines of talking about something like, say, like Final Fantasy 13, and not necessarily, I don't know, name another Japanese RPG that came out over the past couple years that's got a lot more that diversity of choice there. But I mean, I'm looking at these comments and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because they're going in on how BioWare is today, and their games are today, but
BioWare sucks today, but
yeah,
whatever.
It's honestly, Western RPGs are right now in a place where you could say Japanese RPGs were back in the 7th generation, where Western RPGs ain't looking that good. Like it's like literally like 2 studios out there that's really like dropping good Western RPGs, like Larian Studio and Obsidian. So I mean, it's like, and that's fine. But I do almost kind of wonder, what do Japanese people call Western RPGs? I mean, do they just call them RPGs as he claims they should just all be called RPGs? Do they not have a distinction for Skyrim, for Mass Effect 3, for the Outer Worlds? There's no distinction for those kind of games. I don't know. Like, so it's okay to have subgenres, and instead of having to go through an entire spiel that explaining the game design of a game so that someone knows what kind of game it is, you can say, yeah, it's a JRPG. Oh, it's a Western RPG. It's a CRPG. It's a strategy RPG. I know exactly what kind of game you're talking about when you say that. So you don't have to go tell me, hey, go get this fire RPG. And I did not go get it and realize, man, this is that strategy RPG. I don't like strategy RPGs. Like, well, you know what? That's what classifications are for. So we know exactly what kind of game it's supposed to be. Imagine someone's like, oh, yeah, Forza Motorsport about to come out. You better if you like races, you better go get that. But if you like arcade racers, and you don't like simulation racers, you're probably not gonna like Forza Motorsport. There's a difference. There are different subgenres, and there's just literally nothing wrong with acknowledging that. I think, well, I empathize with Yoshi in regards to dealing with people treating your craft and treating the work that you put in, the hard work that you put in, and treating it like it's garbage, treating it like not even really giving it the opportunity to actually try and see if it's good, but just writing it off because of a classification of what that game is, or to his mind, his viewpoint, where he was born and where he lived determines whether someone would decide to even give his work a shot. I understand him being kind of miffed at that, but like, you gotta look at it from a broader perspective. That term didn't originate then, and even now he even acknowledges, because JRPGs are looking great right now too. So
JRPGs have been like
very positive, like
banging, baby boos, banging.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been some excellent ones that have come out the last few years. So, listen, it is what it is. Whatever. He's free to feel how he wants, and again, he does not have to include any Black people or people of color in these games, especially if he's concerned about the potential controversy. That is his right, and I don't blame him. Because again, let's talk about the exaggerated swagger of a Black teen or some fucking bullshit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to hear any of that nonsense. So I don't blame him, and I get it for sure. So.
Hey, Luca. See, here's another perspective. Now, if you've been gaming for ages, you'd know that originally you had console RPGs, then you had computer RPGs. Back when, PS1, we're talking way back. We're going way back. Now, the birth of stuff like Elder Scrolls and the Western
go
RPG.
further back than that. You're talking like
we could go way back. Console RPGs were generally made in Japan. Computer RPGs were mainly made in the West. Now, far as I'm aware, the first time people started throwing around the words Western RPG and JRPG was back in the PS2 era, but that was because then, especially for like the original Xbox, a lot of computer RPGs started coming over to the console, and then people started marketing Western RPG. Like, for example, Morrowind, marketed as a Western RPG. KOTOR was probably marketed as that. So then you had JRPGs, you had your Final Fantasies, you had your whatever else you want. And that was
Secret
from
where stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so that's where the Western. So it just wasn't. If anything, it was a marketing term, and the community kind of ran with it. Oh, this game's made in the West, Western RPG. This game's made in the East, Japanese RPG.
Yeah,
I will give you the greatest example of how it's really just a classification of a particular style of RPG and not necessarily really about the region. If you guys have heard of Edge of Eternity, it's a RPG that came out maybe like in the past like 2 years. Edge of Eternity is considered a JRPG, but it's made by Midgar Studio. That's a French developer, and it's considered JRPG because it's a turn-based, combat's turn-based. And it's just like, no one, when that game was coming out, no one was like, oh man, like, how dare they call themselves this game a JRPG and you're from France? Like, no one cared because it was about what the kind of game it was, and just calling it what it was. The name of their studio is Midgar Studio. Clearly they're fanboys of Final Fantasy. It's just like, duh. Like, so like, if no one had a problem with it, sure, game looks cool, I'll try it out. And it just seems,
Well, slow mo, I saved the trip. The game is bad.
I will
What Edge of
counterpoint.
Eternity?
I'll counterpoint. The game is
Yeah.
actually rather good. Well, okay. I'll clarify. The music is fire. The music is fire, and some of the characters are cool. I'll grant you that. Maybe
Edge
the
of
combat's
Eternity
a
is
bit
not that
mid.
good. We
Yeah.
keep it a buck. But I'm
It's-
just saying,
it's-
it's not about the quality of the game. It's the fact that like what the game was and who made it is why I brought it up. We could talk. It's a
Yeah,
mediocre
a
RPG.
similar game is like Chain Echoes. You know what I mean? A lot of people
Right.
were assuming that game is a JRPG. It's not a JRPG. I think I forgot the name. It's made by one guy pretty much. But he's from like Europe or something like that.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's
it's
due to
still
the
a
style of how
JRPG. It's the style. It's about the style. It's not necessarily like the region where it was created. It's the exact style. Because like when that term was first created, as Singer was saying, a lot of console RPGs were all turn based at that time.
and
It
they
was
were
the
all
difference,
Japanese.
and they were all Japanese. It was the difference between that and the computer RPGs, which was like Baldur's Gate kind of stuff.
Nah,
You know,
I don't agree with the style. I get where you're coming from, but like I feel like JRPG is more of the region than the style. But people have turned it into a style. That's why you're seeing games like Chain Echoes is thinking of a JRPG because it's turn based and how it reminisces of like a older school RPG game. But really and truly, it's not a JRPG. That's just what it is. But that's you see the confusion in that what goes on because JRPGs been around. Been people been calling it that for a very very long. Like I'm 38. People been calling that for a very very long time, bro. And it has turned into a style, and that's where he's talking about. You know what I mean? Where a style of game, people think of JRPGs of a style of game, not where it's coming from, and people would turn the game away because they see a game as a JRPG. Oh, it might be some weeb anime or turn-based stuff, and this is the reason why he's going against the terminology because he wants to appeal to a grander audience. That's the whole point of Final Fantasy 16, where you have a different conversation with people talking about action and turn-based. You know what I mean? But if you're just looking at the style JRPG, it's like, oh no, Final Fantasy should be turn-based. That's the thing that he's trying to tackle and break down. It's like, no, we're creating an RPG game. You know what I mean? Whether it's turn-based or not, or action, it's an RPG game. So that's where I think the frustrations from him is coming because people are trying to classify what his game should be or what his game is rather than just looking at it from mechanics and what is going on, story and all that stuff. Don't ignore the game because it's titled a JRPG or classified as JRPG. You know what I mean? Try other things. Final Fantasy could be action, which that could be another debate and all that stuff. But
Okay, and I definitely hear what you're saying there, but it's also like, and again, this goes back into people are not viewing it in a negative light these days. Like people are going to give Final Fantasy a chance because it's Final Fantasy. Which Final Fantasy are we on?
16.
Which means that there are 15 previous Final Fantasies, right?
And spin-offs and sequels and everything else in between.
So it's like
but still, people are going to play Final Fantasy, but their approach is to still open up to a wider audience. Just like with 15, when you boot up that fucking game, it tells you here's the Final Fantasy game for new audience. 16 niggas doing the same thing. They're still trying to reach a grander audience with their game.
Do you think it's right or not right? Do you think it's a good approach for them to try to appeal to a larger audience? Do you think that's gonna like turn some people off?
Depends on how they do it.
Yeah, it all depends on.
It depends if it's good. If it's good, then it's justified, and then the wider audience will embrace it. And the hardcores, even though they may be like Final Fantasy should always be turn based, they're still going to play it. So it's going to work. When it doesn't work, when it's like you decide to go to take a IP to a different level or to a different method that isn't traditional for it, and then it fails or it's a bad implementation or execution, is when people go, see, you should have never did that nonsense in the first place. It should have always stayed the way it was before. And so it's like it just all depends on whether it's good or not.
I agree with Slomo on that because people do that with Elder Scrolls, right? You look at it, Morrowind was super hardcore. Oblivion, hardcore still, but loosening up. Skyrim, Elder Scrolls went mainstream. Why? Because it wasn't as hardcore as a Morrowind. It just wasn't. It isn't that
Not
kind
even
of game.
close.
They loosened it up. And of course, Skyrim did fantastically well because it
loosened it
appealed
up.
to a wider audience. Like, you look at the sales
Exactly.
compared to all the previous Elder Scrolls, they don't even come close. But as
Yeah.
soon as they loosened, yeah, so Final
Okay.
Fantasy could do the same thing.
Well, like, good luck to people who are fans of the franchise. I hope the next game is exactly what y'all are wanting it to be.
Yo, Luca, we in there day one, baby.
Huh?
Let's go. Yeah, yeah.
I don't play. I don't
Me-
play
me-
games. I don't
A
play
what?
games. No, I don't. I don't play games. What? What?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
All right,
answer that question.
So, okay, so Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart is facing several controversies lately. The Ukrainian government has actually requested that people don't. I'm sorry, it requested that. Is this game on Nintendo? Okay, Sony and Steam and Microsoft not release the game in certain areas because of the Russian ties. The backers of the games have Russian ties. I believe that was the issue. So they were requesting that. So that was like one of the controversies there. So people were like, you should boycott this game or you're supporting the Ukrainian war and everything, right? That's not what I want to talk about, though. So here's the thing. Atomic Heart, right? So a few days ago, somebody on my timeline hit me up. Well, not hit me up. He posted about this Atomic Heart featuring this this right here. This little, it's really spooky little cartoon here, right? You know what I'm saying? And this, I think, to another degree, this as well, right? So this cartoon comes from a show called oh my goodness, if I butcher, I don't speak this language, but New Pagodi, which is literally, well, just you wait. So the show is a very real piece of Russian programming, although it's okay, anachronistic to the setting of Atomic Heart since the show started airing in 1969. So the game displays the 12th episode, which takes place in a museum. The episode includes a fairly racist statue of what is presumably an African tribesman. So here's the thing. People saw this, and there are a lot of folks who were just like, oh, this was like a deliberate attack. This is like them deliberately poking fun and deliberately being racist. And I saw it and I was just like, well, if it's in like a cartoon on a screen, in a video, in the background, here's the thing. When it comes to certain like things that are considered racist or sexist, homophobic, that kind of thing, if you're not part of that subgroup, it takes you taking the time to research certain things to be aware that certain things can be prejudiced. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things in our past are have racist roots to it, sexist roots, you know, homophobic roots. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Slumbo, you good over there, man? I mean, Forte, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, all right. Just making sure. Go ahead, Luca. I
Look, I
apologize.
My eyes are so watery, man.
Crying?
Yo,
You all right, man?
Look over there, bro.
Yo,
Oh
you
my
good,
God.
Forte?
I was
My bad,
thinking about-
Luca, my bad. I'm looking out for your panel. You know?
Listen, man, I almost turned my camera off a couple of times just because.
I mean, you should have.
It's like, man, watch my eyes watery, man.
Listen,
Well,
buddy
with the
boy,
looks
like
like-
Luca, hey, listen, Luca, the way Luca was talking, it just got me emotional, I guess. I don't know. Oh, there was something. I see Barry looking like, what's wrong?
anyway, just move on with
I
that.
was making sure you good, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Basically what I'm saying is, so people like some people took it as like them deliberately doing it, and I was like, I don't think that's deliberate. I think it just slipped their mind. Like genuinely, I don't think they even thought about it. I think they saw the cartoon clip, and I don't even think they gave it a second look. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no, I don't think they thought about it at all. So I don't think it was deliberate at all. I think it was an like unintentionally racist. I think it was just an oversight because they didn't think about it because they don't. I mean, that entire dev team, I believe they
That
were
character looked crazy
white.
though. That,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It do look crazy.
Yeah, it does look crazy as hell, but I don't think it was deliberate, and they issued an apology. For anybody who's all like, I'm not going to play the game because of this, that's completely valid, for sure. I'm not going to play the game because I'm not interested, so, you know, regardless. But I think it was like, I figured it was just an oversight because, like, they just, that entire, I'm pretty sure that entire dev team, they're just Russian. I think they're all Russian. They're all white Russians. So, it is what it is. But for sure, if you don't want to play the game because of that, completely valid. And they did issue an apology, and I think they worked on like getting that shit out of there. So, what do you guys think, though?
I was one of the people that said I'm not playing this game because of that. I was mildly interested. I wasn't really all that interested in the game. I thought like I think their trailers actually probably made the game look better than it actually turned out to be, based upon some of the reviews and some of the feelings of people that whose gaming opinions I respect that played it. But that said, I still had it installed, was still going to play it. Saw the screenshot of that come up and was like, yeah, I'm a pass. And the reason is that like it doesn't really matter to me whether they did it on purpose. I do think there is a segment of the gaming community when it comes to developers that like to do certain things, almost kind of like how like old school Disney animators used to like throw little things into their movies, like almost like a little subliminal thing you could barely see, but it's like something completely thus. Like I do think game developers are no different. They're still human. They still do dumb shit, and I still do think that some of them, like 343 with the Bonobo incident, stuff like that happens. And when it does happen,
That was extremely deliberate. Like, that's different. That was deliberate.
Well, I mean, we don't know whether this was deliberate or not either. I'm not saying it is or not. We don't know for certain.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying it's less likely that it was deliberate in comparison to the Bonobo situation.
And what I'm saying is that I don't care if it's deliberate or not. I still don't think it's acceptable.
Me saying whether or not it's deliberate doesn't mean I'm saying it's acceptable. I'm just saying it's not. It possibly wasn't deliberate.
Okay, and I'm still saying that like the end result is still got black people in the video game looking funny.
Yes.
And so whether it's deliberate like 343 or possibly deliberate like Atomic Heart devs, regardless, I ain't with it, so I ain't playing.
No, completely valid, man.
I think that the more people that take that kind of stance, when they see this kind of bullshit, like make actually developers actually start looking at their content a little bit differently. Or when the dumbass on your team decides, hey, what if I name this Juneteenth thing Bonobo? Well, you guys think that's funny, right? You slap him in his damn face and say, shut the fuck up. See, that was what needed to happen, so that didn't get thrown in our face. Instead of, oh, Bonnie Ross, now fired, issuing a stupid apology that nobody believes. Or these Atomic Heart devs issuing an apology that most people probably don't believe too. So just curate your content a lot better.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Shout out to Lil F Boy saying, "Is it sus to go to the Cheesecake Factory with the homies? You know, it's never
absolutely not.
It's never sus to hang out with the homies and do shit with the homies. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been to the Chocolate Factory? Oh man,
yeah. What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, man?
Bro, I have no idea what he could be referring to. My thing is like, I think that if you're intending to sell your game in a different country, you should be mindful of certain things that could be considered /are problematic /racist /blatantly sexist, all that stuff. Like people are talking about the game being sexist too. I was just like, the crispy little critters are sexist? What you talking about, man? Like what's going on? That was a piece of dialogue from the game, y'all. So it's just like, I was just like, okay. But yeah, the game is like,
I've been seeing a lot of people horny over the art with the robots. That's all I've been seeing about this game. I don't really have no interest in it though. Not right now. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. See something pop up like that with them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would definitely understand it leaving a bad taste in people's mouth. I'd be like, like, oh no, thank you.
I thought it was even before that appeared on the timeline. I was kind of iffy about it, and then some people I value their opinions. They were playing it and streamed it, and I was like, "Nah, this shit is mid." And then that shit appeared on the timeline, and it's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." I mean, it didn't affect it one way or the other because I wasn't going to play that anyway. But it was it was fucked up when I saw it. I was like, "Really? You put that in the game and you thought, hey, this is cool. You know, this shit's gonna fly. All right."
All right. No dead air.
I mean, there's no dead air because, okay, let me not speak. Anyway, so we can just move on from there.
Whoa, Luca. Whoa. Can you relax? He
Whoa.
doesn't-
Whoa. Okay, chill. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, okay, we're gonna talk about Forspoken.
Yo, by the way, I appreciate the invite after 6 years, by the way.
First
You know
of
what I mean?
all,
6 years.
you're right. I mean,
Damn.
you're right. Like,
You
but
know
then
what I'm saying?
again, Bari, let's
This how they treat me,
Bari,
Cassie.
Bari, let's
You
think
feel
about it
me?
like
Damn.
this. Let's think about it like this.
You've been on here before.
You definitely been on here.
He's
before.
implying 6 years ago.
It ain't been 6 years.
Ain't been
either.
6 years.
It's been like he was on here last year at some point.
Let's think about it like this.
Hold on, it's not about me, okay? We're talking about Forspoken right now. Let's get it.
Hold on. Let's just think about it like this. My own panel would not show up for my show, so maybe I got to a point where I'm like, I'm just not even gonna ask people to come on because why does
Yeah,
anyone
all
even wanna
day.
hang out? Exactly.
Oh man.
All day.
Oh man.
Exactly. Meta.
Oh man.
Meta just up and just never came back, but that's okay.
Shout out to all
Damn.
day.
Shout out to the boys.
Word. That's the
Yo,
homie
all
right there.
day is a part of every podcast, but it's never there.
You're right. You're right. 'cause
The way
I
you
know
looking at
he's
the
part of that
camera.
60 frames no lag. He is part of 60 frames no lag.
Like you looking directly at all day. Like I'm looking at you,
Absolutely.
fool.
Absolutely.
I know, man.
Respect to my man
saw,
all day. That's what
I
I got.
saw all day on Blaze channel.
I
was
did
like,
see him
damn.
on Solid
But
Cast. I was
all
like,
day is everywhere.
Yeah, we
I
watching you all
gasped.
day. We watching you.
I gasped. I was like, how dare he show up to that show? Mind you, I didn't have a show that week, so I was like, okay, it's whatever.
Oh
But,
man, that's
like,
funny.
you know, but okay, so
Speak your
anyway,
mind. Speak your mind.
That's
That's
a
all.
hilarious episode. I'm not going for it.
he's like, I love those boys over there. So Luminous Productions, the developers behind Forspoken, will be merged back into its parent company, Square Enix. I did a video on this. Now listen, there's been some interesting back and forths on the timeline. Now, some of us are of the belief that they're being reabsorbed because Forspoken was a failure, financially,
Mhm.
critically, you know, in terms of
Yeah,
sales.
Cassie, I'm
You
looking at you,
know it.
Cassie. I'm looking at you, Cassie.
know,
Looking right back. I
which-
hold to that. I'm holding to it. I'm holding to it. Straight
Listen,
up.
don't attack my shins like that, okay?
But,
I'm just
but some people like Bari are of the belief that that is not the case. So, you know,
yeah, I don't believe that's the case, but
here's my thing. This is what I'm gonna say, okay? Like I said, I did a video on it. I think it is completely plausible that they're being reabsorbed because Forspoken did not perform the way they wanted it to in terms of Metacritic. We all know that unfortunately Metacritic does fucking matter. Shout out to everyone who bought Elden Ring because that 97 score, baby, but whatever, right? So, you know, Metacritic does actually matter. Forspoken, I think it's like at a 60 something on Metacritic currently.
68 or something like that.
criminal.
Yeah,
Criminal.
we don't
Criminal.
we don't know what the sales are officially, but you know, I offered a different perspective in my video where I said I also think it's completely plausible that based on the global panorama, they decide to restructure things and bring them back. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what you say in your video, Luke. Now, I'm gonna watch it now.
you know, like sometimes you just gotta believe in your girl, man. Sometimes you just
Okay, I
gotta
got you.
believe in your girl.
I
You
ain't
gotta,
even gonna lie. I saw it pop up on my feed. I was like, Luca. Watch, let me come on a Saturday. Let me come on a Saturday.
yeah, no, like so I offered that perspective where
Oh,
I
shit.
said because I believe Luminous Studios, they were created in 2018 and then they talked about Luminous Studios in 2019 about this concept of them being like an independent studio that coexists with them. And then the pandemic happened in 2020. So I said it's completely plausible that they decide to restructure things and they wanted to wait until Forspoken came out before announcing that they were going to bring them back. So that's my perspective. I think it's completely plausible that that is the case as well. But I also think it's plausible that, you know, they were like, you guys can just come back. Forspoken.
Well, to be honest with you,
So.
when it comes to Square Enix, this is a push of restructuring that they've been going for. Like in their quarterly reports and their earning calls and things like that. Final Fantasy VII Remake has changed a lot when it comes to the restructuring of what they're doing at Square Enix. Because at the start, Final Fantasy VII Remake was not done by internal studios. That was being done by that was being outsourced. And they took it in first part internally and developed it with themselves. And that game right there have changed a lot of things when it comes to Square Enix, when it comes to their pushing their remakes and their remasters and things like that. I'm not saying that like Forspoken and Luminous Productions like it's this that the game did wonderfully great. But the only thing I'm disagreeing with, I understand people coming in from a critical perspective, because Metacritic wise, it didn't do well. It wasn't bode well. And that's mainly here, like, in Western websites and things like that. If you look at it from a Japanese perspective, like Famitsu, it was reviewed well. I think it was like a 37 or something. It was like a high 30s out of 40. And Famitsu is something that Japanese people look at as a high regard. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm in the mix where I'm like, yeah, I can see people coming in from, like, critically wise, it didn't pan out well, but when it comes to Japan, it did pan out well on a critic standpoint. But the thing is, like, what people are bringing up, and with Cassie, shout out to Cassie. Cassie's cool people. You know what I mean? It's just disagreement. You know what I mean? You can have a different opinion. It's totally understandable. I know Cassie for a very long time. You know what I mean? So not long time, but yeah. At the end of the day,
like long enough, man.
Yeah, just know it's a disagreement. Whether what people say after that, you know what I mean? I can't be controlling these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It's a disagreement.
But
I feel that when I see people pushing that Forspoken has flopped, I'm trying to get like, okay, where are you coming from that flop? Because before the game came out, everybody was deeming it as a flop, and it proved them wrong. It charted top 10 on every metric, from NPDs to PlayStation digital sales, the European charts, Japanese charts. It charted. Me and when I had a back and forth, I forgot who it was. It was like, well, you gotta wait till February. I'm like, why do I gotta wait till February? You know what I mean? You guys claimed that it was gonna fail, when it first came out in Japan. I mean, in January, it's a late release and it charted top 10 on every perspective. So I don't see that as like a flop sales wise, especially with all the negative connotations this game was going into with it.
Yeah, hey, Bar, we do have to acknowledge though, it's only been 1 month. So like I brought up an example on DPS where it's like,
but it's debut.
Oh, real quick, Barry, if you want to look at what Jack said in the chat. What's up, Jack? Go ahead, Slow.
he talk about the lineup. He got the lineup all good. Now, yeah,
I see you with that popcorn. Slow.
I tried to just change it to it, and then like StreamYard kicked me out, and I had to like sign back in. StreamYard didn't like me being messy.
So, did you? I mean, I offered the perspective that maybe they always planned on doing this consolidation after the global panorama.
That's the thing. They did because this is a part of their medium-term strategy when it comes to pushing the remakes and remasters from the older games. We've heard rumors about Final Fantasy IX. There's things in the Pixel remaster. They got merged into the main Division 1 of Square Enix. That's who's making Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII Remake and Dragon Quest and all that stuff. That's their push in the midterm. That means that's not the entirety of what they're going to be doing. The medium term is 3-5 years. This is their push to get as much of these HD, what they call it, Japan, HD AAA remasters out, and they're going to be a part of that push. That's what the earnings call, and that was the thing that's what they were saying in Square Enix. And this been a plan. That's why when I look at the news, I was like, well, why are people viewing this as a bad thing? This is nothing new here, because even in their report, they said many of you have heard, because this is nothing new. This is not just, oh, we're just popping up. This is before the game even came out. This is what they was going to be doing. But, my bad. You can go ahead.
Well, when it comes to Luminous specifically, I mean, we have an engine that they developed. 2 games made off that engine. To say that a studio losing its independence is not a bad thing, I mean, I don't really see that as like a thing. When I'm looking at Luminous Productions being absorbed into Square Enix, of course I'm going to see that as a bad thing. That's a studio. That's one less game that Square Enix is going to have in development. Of course, the best positive in this situation is that there are definitely talented individuals over at Luminous Productions that are going to end up being part of different teams that probably need their work. But overall, this is one less studio under Square Enix's belt, one less studio to have its own independence under Square Enix to make an intellectual property of some sort. So in that regard, I do see that as a negative.
I hear what you're saying for sure, but I do want to point out that who was it? I think it was like the president of Square Enix was talking about how studios not having like independence in that sort, where it's like they have this, it's like a cohesion and they work together. He said that was like typically the norm, and them deciding to branch off and create an independent studio, that was like an outlier there. So they don't typically create independent studios like that from internally,
Yeah,
is what
and
he
it seems
said.
as though they tried with Luminous and didn't seem to work out so well. I mean, when you're putting, it's not just they created this studio, they created an engine, and this engine only produced 2 games. And those 2 games, I mean, look, I have Final Fantasy 15 right here, and this is the day 1 edition, or how I like to call it, the piece of shit edition. I felt like I was treated like a piece of shit when I paid $60 for this game, and half the game wasn't even technically there. Didn't even finish it. I felt like it was an insult to my intelligence. I'm glad to see, at least by the end game of Final Fantasy 15, that it turned out to, from what I heard, to be a relatively reasonable game. But this was bad. Unfortunately, the day 1 edition, the piece of shit edition. And when we look at Luminous Productions and what has been churned out from them, after, you know, developing a specifically at the time, developing an actual engine that's supposed to be for the next generation back, you know, late PS3. And this engine only produced 2 games. And then you're looking at, like, you know, Epic Games, their engines that they create are like pivotal to many foundations of games out there. To me, that is disappointing. I mean, Square obviously as a company is going to, any particular failures under Square Enix, if at all possible, they're going to avoid saying that they're deliberate failures. I mean, a company that's in the business of making money isn't going to outright just say, yeah, we failed here, we failed there, unless there is a colossal failure such as
Square Enix? You don't think Square Enix is
no, they're knowing to show you that
finish.
they're failures. Oh, my bad.
Let me finish. When it comes to Square, when it comes to any business in the business of making money, if they can actually cover up and pretend, oh yeah, well, you know, this didn't actually do so well, but we're going to try and not admit that outright. The only time that they're going to outright say that there is a colossal failure is when there's a colossal failure, such as the initial release of Final Fantasy 14. That was a colossal fucking failure of epic proportions, and they had to come out and
Tomb
say
Raider a failure too with 6 million.
Well, they called Tomb Raider a fail. That's crazy to think, though. They actually, I think it was 8 million. They put out Tomb Raider the reboot and said 8 million in sales was actually not what they were hoping for. They were hoping for more, which leads me to believe that more than likely Forspoken probably did flop. They're not going to outright say that until Forspoken isn't really relevant anymore. But if their high standards with the reboot of Tomb Raider was 8 million is a flop, then imagine what Forspoken is going to be. And to me, the Tomb Raider reboot's one of my all-time favorite games. It's in my top 10.
Okay, that being said, Tomb Raider is like an established IP in comparison to Forspoken. And I don't think Square Enix is the type to pull their punches, but I guess it depends on what studio is doing it. But hold on,
we seen that though, Luca.
To be fair, Luca, when they said that Tomb Raider didn't do well, right? How many years after launch was that?
I don't know.
Many years after launch, because I definitely do remember after the remaster, years after the remaster release, they admitted, yeah, that didn't sell nearly as much as we wanted it to. They're obviously not going to relevantly say right now that Forspoken is
recall them talking about Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Like as soon as the 8th generation started, they said Tomb Raider Definitive Edition did not meet sales expectations. I remember that, which I remember a lot of people saying, "What? It sold like a lot of millions of copies."
Shocked about it. Yeah, we shocked.
Yeah, and then they said the same about Rise, which also sold pretty well. Shadow of Tomb Raider, that just wasn't that good of a game, so I wasn't surprised that one didn't beat expectations. But it's always been the kind of thing with Screens where it's like they're
Outriders, Avengers, like Square Enix is known to
they're gonna let people know, like, hey, this shit didn't do well.
They have out of whack sales expectations that it seems like the gaming community is like, why did you think it was going to sell like that? And then it doesn't meet expectations, of course. Because
Tomb Raider was a weird one in my opinion. But what I'm saying is that we've seen that Square, if they deem something a failure, they would let you know, and they would remove it
a month after release.
But the thing is, it's too soon. This is what I was trying to get back earlier. It's too soon to call it a sales failure, and even though it's like, as Barry said, it's charted on every chart in the first month.
But honestly, there's some pushback.
Let me finish.
Good, Slomo.
State of Decay 2 also charted in its first month, and State of Decay 2 is a floppity flop flop.
Woo!
Okay, so it's
I had
like
to make that video private after we were talking
it's
about
like
that
1
MPD,
month
man.
of sales doesn't, unless you're like Rockstar or like Elden Ring and Hogwarts, where you sold 12 million copies in like the first 2 weeks. Unless you're like that kind of game, you can't really tell if the game is a success or not until you get like at least like 90 days in. Because usually, as they say, like after 90 days, the sales kind of drops and they never really recovers the same percentage or the same clip of sales after that. And then they can kind of get a look at what they're really looking at as far as what sales goes. We also don't know the budget of the game either. So it's like there's a lot there that we don't have information on to say whether it is or is not a sales flop.
All right, before you go, Cassie, let me get this. Shout out to Leo F. Boy saying, hello, J Bari. Glad to see a member of the Pegasus Nation on Scumcast. Rest in peace, Code. Yes, rest in peace to the homie Code. Salute to my boy.
Absolutely.
Yep. Definitely. But when it comes to Forspoken particularly, there's no objective like confirmation that it flopped or it's a success. Objectively, I think we could all admit to that because it's not confirmed on the base premise. But when you look at first week sales and there's actual proof that, Hi-Fi Rush, a $30 game, actually made more revenue first week with Forspoken than a $70 game in Forspoken. That first week drop, a $30 game that was also on Game Pass, made more revenue than Forspoken. That's kind of, you got to look at that like, maybe this didn't do as well as probably projected when you think about it.
You can.
Nah, I wouldn't agree with
that. You can make an inference there, but I don't think that's like a good basis, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that's like I said, we can't objectively say unless we see the numbers. But I believe that when I'm looking at a $30 game making more revenue than this AAA $70 game, it's like maybe it probably didn't do so well. I would kind of probably be reasonably able to presume this is probably going to flop.
Do you have evidence that like where are you getting this? It made more revenue.
You talking about Steam sales or whatnot?
Is that what you're referring to?
The thing, like, I'm not knocking Hi-Fi Rush success. You know what I mean? I think they did a great job. Especially for like a stealth
Shadow drop. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm not saying Forspoken was like this monumental success. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying like I don't think anyone can come and say the game flopped, especially if it charted in all regions, MPDs, digital wise. Like if you check probably Xbox, I don't understand why we wouldn't chart Xbox because it wasn't Game Pass, but you know what I mean? Like you can't say the same thing for Forspoken. I mean, for Hi-Fi Rush outside of Steam sales. You know what I mean? But like on all metrics, Forspoken has charted. Like if somebody told me Forspoken is flopped, and I come with okay, but here is the MPDs, here is the European sales, here is the Japanese sales. That's the only thing I can go by to say no, it didn't flop. As far as when it comes to initial release, whether 2 months, 3 months down the line, hey, we'll see from that. But I don't think it initially flopped.
Yeah, I think. Did you find that article? I personally think it's. I agree with Slow-Mo. I think it's Slow-Mo. Can you get my thumb off? You know what? Okay.
Hey, no one knew that was your thumb until you.
Hey, Luca, that's your thumb, Luca. You got a Megan Fox thumb.
Wait. That's my thumb from a couple years back. Okay, like
well, your thumbs didn't grow. I mean, come on now.
It may have changed.
Your nail might be longer, but that's about it.
Fuck you. Okay, that's all I gotta really say.
Yo, Slow-Mo, you wrong for that though. You put my homegirl Luca thumb right on there. She ain't cleaned the cuticles and that.
I was going to change my icon back in that soul.
As long as there's no dirt
you see what they doing, Cassie? You see what they're doing, Cassie?
No dirt under the fingernails. Anything else is acceptable. Okay.
I agree with that.
I think
you ain't got no dirt under there.
Might be bigger than that, honestly. But no.
What did you say?
No.
Yo, Luca, you as light as me, Luca. That's crazy.
I'm very light skinned. Yes.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna fall back.
Oh, I mean, listen, I wasn't the one talking about butterscotch. That was Persona, okay? Like that
Oh yeah,
was,
that was the song.
you
He
know, that
wilding with
was
that.
someone else, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't,
Listen,
anyway.
Persona
Wait,
living
wait,
his own
wait, he
delusional
said-
world when it comes to that. He said
Wait,
he caramel. He said he caramel.
He's caramel and you're butterscotch. That's what he said.
No, Persona was like he butterscotch or caramel. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey brother, listen, you my bro.
I ain't never heard a brother call himself butterscotch.
You know, when you had that heart to heart, you be like, yo, bro, you my,
I was
you
just
my
like,
guy.
what are you talking about?
What is happening?
All right. By the way, I
That's
found the
a first.
article that Cassie was talking about.
Thank you, because my searching skills are trash.
Now I know what she's talking about. She's talking about, I think it's like Steam. You're talking about, right, Cassie? Like the Steam
Yeah.
sales.
It is. I think it was Steam. I think it was like on Steam. It also Hi-Fi Rush on Steam also for Spoken, but that's just
For the
Steam.
week.
Yeah, for like
Yeah, so this is what she's talking about, y'all. This is from Paul Tassi, saying Hi-Fi Rush appears to have out-earned Forspoken's launch week.
Paul Tassi.
I know. PC.
Respect to my man Paul Tassi. I
Shout
apologize.
out to my dude Paul Tassi, who came at me for a video I made. He didn't watch the video. He just assumed I was talking shit, but whatever.
yeah. He just looked at the thumbnail and just made
Thumbnail.
assumptions.
It's called clickbait, babies. Like, I watched the video. I'm not saying crazy shit most
Great
of the time.
journalism there,
You know
Paul.
what I'm saying? Anyway, we just move on from that. But
Great job.
Hey, Luca.
yeah, yes, sir.
All right. Now I'm going to get my Squeenix hate off, you know,
Okay, here we
because
go.
I have publicly made it known on Scumcast multiple times that they are the most, at the same time, great, but also stupid publisher company ever existing. Because these guys don't know what the fuck they want out of their games. They imagine everything probably. They give. I would imagine they give a big budget to stuff and go, hopefully it does really big numbers and recoups the cost. And half the time they don't. Like, you look at the games, Neo didn't meet expectations. Then you have Babylon's Fall, which was a fucking train wreck. Then they.
Fall is actually a good game, to be honest with you. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, still a train wreck.
It
Then
failed, though.
you have the other games as mentioned, Avengers didn't meet, Outriders didn't meet expectations. But they make some great smaller games. But I agree with the point. They must think, because they are Squeenix, a lot of these games they make, give them a budget, give them big. These are going to do Final Fantasy numbers. I'm convinced they say for Spoken, this is going to be the Final Fantasy numbers. We are definitely getting this kind of thing. And it's not your big game. And I mean, they got folded in. I would classify that as you fucked up twice. They gave you a good budget. They probably deemed you fucked up twice. And they're folding your ass back into the fold to keep an eye on your ass.
Is Final Fantasy 15 a fuck up?
I mean, you played it day one. You probably threw your
This
controller across
version
the
sure
room.
as hell was.
No, but
When you're-
the reason
when
why
you're telling me-
I asked, the reason why I asked, Cassie, is because from us, from a gamer perspective, I didn't like Final Fantasy 15. I'll be honest with you, but the classifications why you guys are deeming Forspoken a failure is a complete opposite when it comes to Final Fantasy 15. Review wise, it reviewed well. Sale wise, it's one of the best selling Final Fantasy games.
It's
So
the
was
third
that a
best
failure?
selling.
Yeah.
But it's Luminous. I don't know what is wrong with Square. Squeenix have an issue, and I don't know what the issue is. It seems the Western side, when they had it, never performed to expectations. Eastern side was fine. Because you had the Final Fantasy, you had your Dragon Quest, you had your whatever, okay. The Eastern side was fine. But then they got rid of the West because the Western side was complete garbage. I mean, I'm assuming. And then they have all these different things. Like, one game comes out, it's great. Tactics Ogre Reborn, fantastic. Valkyria Elysium, fantastic. They make all these fantastic. Octopath Traveler, fantastic. They have all these fantastic little games. But when it comes to the big game, like the amount of money you paid for marketing for Spoken, and then you have the budget, which is a big AAA game, so it's not going to be a minuscule budget, and it doesn't pull in the numbers, then you're going to be like, well, it kind of didn't do what we wanted it to do.
Like,
It's Square Enix is just
Yeah,
I don't.
listen, man. I know
I
that
hate-
you hate them, dude.
I love some of their games. The problem is, I love their games, but they also make stupid ass decisions at the
Yeah.
same time.
I hear you.
Like
man.
what? What's a stupid decision? Let me
What's
know.
up, Priscilla? Please, I don't want to get into it again.
Getting
He's talked
Crystal
about
Why,
it.
Luca? Luca,
He's
hold
talked
up.
about this before. Okay,
All right,
Here's
You
a
don't want to.
perfect
You don't want to have a
example.
podcast, Luca? All right, go ahead.
Sir, I
Okay,
don't want to
so-
talk
Getting
about this.
Crystal
I hate Square Enix stuff from him. I've heard it already. I've heard it.
Crystal
This is not
Dynamics
the
to
first.
make
This
a
is the 15th
service-based
time.
game that they were
I'll
not
give you a
well-equipped
good
to make
example.
was a pretty big fail.
I'll give you how they marketed Guardians of the Galaxy was a big mistake. That was
Yeah,
like
because that game was good, right?
they did not accentuate the best parts of that game, which was his humor, them nailing the characters, the story. They didn't really like showcase that stuff when they marketed the game or showed trailers or anything like that. The first time they showed it, like I think probably the weakest part of the game is not terrible, but the weakest part of the game is the combat. And then like their very first time showing Guardians of the Galaxy, they did like a 10-minute like unedited just gameplay at E3, and everybody was like, right off the heels of Avengers flop, and it was like,
Right.
why you show it like that? Like, so like it was no surprise that everybody thought it was going to be a piece of crap. Comes out and it's like it's actually good, and then it kind of like, but then they're all like, well, you know, it
I guess
failed.
they
You
don't
know,
have
so
any
it didn't meet our sales expectations. Like, really? You're
Maybe
shocked?
if you
You're
had
shocked about
marketed
that?
it right.
Yeah.
Right.
So shout out to Blade X saying, why did only 6.97% of players beat Hi-Fi Rush? I don't know.
Whoa,
I-
Blade! I need you to relax.
Because
I bet.
yeah, I know you're good. I don't know. Black Metal Gamer says, is Hi-Fi Rush Xbox's Gravity Rush?
Oh shit!
I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, unfortunately, Gravity Rush is a good game, but unfortunately,
good
it didn't
game.
see much commercial success.
Yeah.
Whereas it seems like Hi-Fi Rush is doing pretty damn well for itself now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Listen, Singer, this Phil Spencer interview, 5 minutes or less, baby. Go ahead.
Yo, Luca, hold on.
What?
Singer, hold on. I got your back, man. Because, I don't know what.
No, Barry, you don't have
Luca,
my back.
You have,
No.
you have. Listen. We got Cassie on here. You got
Yes.
your boy Jay Barry in here. You
Yes,
got 2
we
more
do.
hours in this goddamn podcast.
I got 2 what?
You got
Hey.
2 more hours in this goddamn. You
He said this-
podcasting tonight, Sister Soldier.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
That's
That singer,
disrespectful.
go ahead and get your spiel on. You got half an hour. Go ahead, brother. We do this like a state.
Man.
Yes,
Alright.
sir.
You gotta
Yes,
have
So
it
no,
out,
I'll
bro.
keep it short and sweet. So the interview was actually
Oh, that means
really,
you're gonna go
really,
out. My bad.
it was really enlightening. So they kind of went over the direct and how it was a success, and that's how they want to do it going forward. And then revealed their main focus is now the June show, which we would have figured because that's when, they could have their big showcase. But he did say they have other things to announce between now and then. Starfield Direct didn't want to say anything, of course. And he said other games. Then he addressed the guy from Tango leaving, which was fine.
Guy from
Uh,
Tango, Shinji Mikami. Don't disrespect
Shinji
my man like that.
Mikami. I forgot his name. Okay, no
You
offense.
didn't forget his name. You did it on purpose, singer. I know you. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
not at all. Obviously left on
Did
top.
he
Great
did it on
job.
purpose?
About how he was telling Phil about how to operate in Japan. So I was like, great, because they're telling you this is what you need to do to win over the Japanese audience, which might bode well in the future because we may get more Japanese support. Anyway, he talked about his UK-based studios, especially Ninja Theory, and Everwild is in fact in full development. So they finally figured out what the fuck it's gonna be. Congratulations. But the main part was the Activision. He addressed the fact that COD is the easiest topic to talk about, hence it's the focus of the entire thing. But then he explained their logic on buying Activision, and it's nothing to do with Call of Duty. That's just a bonus. The thing he said, we have no presence in the mobile space. It's the biggest market. We have no presence there. Then he said they talked about how do we get into this market? How do we be relevant in mobile? And of course, you have the added benefit of Blizzard, especially to help with PC Game Pass, because That's where Blizzard's main audience is. Then he said the point of purchasing this is for King, because Activision Blizzard King is the biggest mobile platform outside of China. The biggest ones are in China. So this is their route into the mobile space. So everyone, as I said before, everyone who was saying, oh, COD this, COD that, COD's going to be everywhere, who gives a fuck? The important part to Microsoft is King. Everything else is just a side piece. But no one takes it like that. So there we go. That's his interview. All done.
No one takes like that, because that's not what Microsoft is saying. They're all about the Call of Duty. Because even when they push them, are saying, "Hey, how about you take off Call of Duty off the thing?" What are you gonna say? It was like, nope, that's off the.
Of course, it's all about Call of Duty, because that's all everyone's focusing on.
What are you saying?
If you notice, no one has brought up Blizzard or WoW or anything like this. People ain't even talked about King. King exists, but not one regulator, not one company, Sony. No one has said, "Oh, King." No one's ever mentioned this crap. And he said,
because that's not the main gist of this whole
COD is. And that is a benefit to them, because they want the attention on COD, because they could get away with the whole King thing. And he said that is the whole point of the acquisition. The logic and the strategy behind this purchase.
All right, then. So let's buy King then. How about that? Catch me outside.
Listen, I want to make it clear that the reason I didn't listen to or read this interview is because I'm tired of Phil Spencer. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm sick of Phil Spencer at this point. Like, brother, how did you have so many studios and yet what have we seen? What have we seen? Like, listen, whatever, right? So that's why I didn't watch it or read it. I'm glad you did, Singer. I can always count on you to give me the Xbox gist, but as I'm like, show me, not tell me at this point. I don't want to hear anything he has to say. All respect to Phil, but shout out to Lil F Boy saying, I want Phil Spencer bad, big Philly style. Okay, all right, okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on from that, unless I'm not even gonna ask if y'all have anything to say about it. We're moving on from it. Okay,
we got a half an hour left.
No, I got you, boo. I got you. We got something else to talk about. We got something else to talk about.
You run your show. My bad.
Okay,
I got something to say about that.
Oh, we can just move on. So,
wow, yo, slow-mo.
If you wanna hear what Slow-mo have to say about that, go watch DPS podcast on Thursday.
Apparently, that's the only time my opinions are actually going to be able to be verbalized. This is not here clearly.
Woo, that was good.
I like that. Nice plug.
I think she gave. I don't know if she gave you the floor, Slow-mo, or.
Well, Slow-mo, Luca muted herself.
Because both of you are muted.
Okay, I guess he's not. Okay, so we're going to talk about this video here, okay?
I ain't see this video.
Here's why the gym does not matter. I'm tired of guys that are like, oh, I'm going to the gym, I'm trying to get fit. I feel like I have a pretty decent tone. I don't need to go to the gym, because you pull up to the gym making less than 10K a month, pulling up in your bullshit fucking Corolla, and I pull up in my McLaren, and it's not even a contest, dude. No one gives a fuck about your muscles. Most of the guys that go to the gym, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're fucking stupid. All that pre-workout that you're taking is making you more stupider. Here's why the gym does not matter.
Okay. All right. Let's see here.
Let's take you, for example, and me, and we both pull up and we go to your girl. Odds are if you compared me to you, you're not gonna win that battle. So the next time you think that your girl's on lock, I got the keys to the castle, motherfucker.
Okay, so let's talk about looks versus money. Can anyone?
Oh man!
All right, look, I don't think he's ever had sex before.
Why is it always like these pencil neck white boys that always have the most dumbass fuckery takes?
You ain't wrong.
Yeah, real talk. It's a crazy tape, but he got to be getting some type of cutty to be talking like that. You know what I mean?
No, he ain't getting nothing, man.
No, the thing is, you can, because there's always going to be gold diggers and stuff like that who are looking for the next paycheck. Like, that's a reality. So yes, of course you're gonna get these girls and women who chase the paycheck. So if you pull up in your Ferrari, they're gonna be all over you like you're Brad Pitt or something. Like it's just some people operate that way. Others don't.
It's
Others
more
go
than
for
a
looks.
few that operate that way, though.
Well, I mean, it's more and more these days, but I've seen some shit.
I know people. I personally know people that will literally tell you to your face like it ain't about this and it ain't about that, but you throw some money in front of them, their whole mindset changes.
And the thing is, this brings up another thing because there was a video where the guy was interviewing girls in college in America, and it was like, if you're gonna have a husband, what should his paycheck be? I don't know.
What was that?
Somebody was calling Bari.
What?
Somebody was like, "Yo, Bari."
They were like, "What would
Make it
your
sure,
hus-
my bad.
what would your husband's paycheck be?" And it's a variety of girls from the college. Now, some of them were like, "Oh, it doesn't 50K, 100K, whatever it is." But some of them were like, "Oh yeah, my husband's got to be on like 600K." One of them said, "Oh, my husband's got to be on 800K." Or
mind you, these girls are respectfully, they're still in college, brother. Like,
They don't know anything about
no,
money.
of course, but no, it was an experiment.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, when you're in college is very different from the real world. Like, they'll get their wake up call, or unless they're from affluent families already, then that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But like, if they're just random chicks from college, like,
most of them get their wake up call too late, though.
But then also I've seen people actually, telling their children, right, so when you look like this, look like your stereotypical model.
Where have you seen that?
There was a program I was watching. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
You watching PBS?
He said he's watching the BBC.
Hey, man, I love the BBC. No pause. But no, but some people they're doing it over here as well, with trying to get someone who's good, earns a lot of money, and this is a known thing that obviously gold diggers. Now, obviously, the looks part, personally, looks and personality takes precedence over how much money you're earning, but some people will just be like, well, it's the reason why you see like a 20-year-old with a 60-year-old, right? Now, logically, that should not make sense, but it only makes sense in one scenario. And that's just the way it is.
I think it depends on the combination you just use. I think looks and personality get you a long way, but personality and money will probably get you further.
In today's world, yeah.
I mean, that's the world we live in now.
Yeah,
I don't think if you have the bread, you don't need no personality. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree with that. If you got the bread, you can go even further. The bread will get you a lot further because it opens up doors for you and avenues to social circles that you normally wouldn't have.
You find the personality and the looks.
Yeah, I mean, all that said, they go back to this loser here. Like one, like his whole, I think I got pretty good tone, and when he tried to flex, literally nothing changed with his body. He's got like zero. He's got the muscle tone of a toddler. It's like it's sad. So the fact you combine that with this whole scenario of I pull up and then you pull up and your girl sees both of us. Like, no, that scenario's not happening because you yourself are not bold enough to try to steal someone's girl right in front of them. Like, what you're about to lose is you're gonna lose your jaw and your car. Because like
about to get your whole jaw ciphered doing that shit. You crazy.
Exactly. You're not that guy.
Like Captain America. He is kind of built like pre-Captain America. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, because like when I saw it, I was just like, that's mighty bold, because at the end of the day, while money does matter a lot to some people, there are other people who are like, absolutely fucking not. Like, first of all, I'm not going with any dude who calls me a bitch. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I call myself bitch. My girls are like, "What's up, bitch?" But like, it's different when you're dating someone. I'm not down with that personally. You know what I'm saying? So no. Secondly, I've been like offered money for things and I've said no. I'm just like, no, I'm not interested in that. Plus, I've also had people, like I said, I don't want to get into it, but I just want to say that, like, for me personally, that's not my scene, that's not my jam. I'm very mindful about like the people I let in personally and stuff. So for me, when I saw this video, I'm just like, that's a very specific subset of women who would like ditch their boyfriend because some guy drives up in an expensive car, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not part of that subset of women
Pulling
personally.
Yo,
up, man.
you know what's funny? Like bringing up this topic here, like I've been on a binge watching like these YouTube videos where they testing to see if they're gonna cheat on their significant other and stuff like that. I forgot it's called UDY, and there's another one called like Jack TV. I just been watching a whole bunch of it. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but
Mm-mm.
it's the most hilarious thing where they put their their boyfriend or girlfriend in a situation whereas possibly they would cheat because this person got more money or this person got a bigger house or a car. And really and truly, most of the time they do cheat. I don't know if it's real. I don't know, it might be a setup thing, but from what I'm seeing, I'm like, these people, whether it's a dude or it's a girl, they do be cheating. You know what I
Well,
mean? It's very
isn't
rare
it
that they don't.
possible? Isn't it possible that they're just choosing the clips of people who actually cheat in comparison to those who say no in order to
That's a good
feel
point. That's a
like
good
the
point.
show?
That's a good point.
Um,
Yeah.
Shout out to Vibes Worldwide saying, "Watch Aiden be buddy buddy with that guy, Aiden Ross, that gentleman, Mr. Ross. I think
Mr.
that's what his name is.
Ross.
Yeah, like I think it's completely plausible that they're just choosing the clips of people who actually cheat in comparison to those who do not.
Yeah, and the thing is too about the whole gym thing. Like I'm not going to say it in the way how he said it, but I kind of do agree. Like you don't really need to go to gym, especially if you have like the space. Like I don't go to the gym anymore because I'm like I save my money. I just go on Amazon. I buy a whole bunch of shit. I got a bike here. I got a ab stuff here. I got a bench press here, and I'll work out home. If I get disciplined enough to to do it.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like I do understand why people do go to gym. Some people need to focus or to take that time off and vibe out or hopefully people socialize there as well.
Well,
Hopefully they can.
some people don't have space in their house. I go
Yeah.
to I have a gym at my job, so I go out of convenience, baby. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's
So
up.
that's what I do. Like
I
I
mean,
work out 6 days a week personally. So
Yeah, I think it was less about the gym and more about like people who try to build their body up in order to attract the opposite sex versus I guess him and his car, because he seemed to be like really all he was talking about was his car. But
yeah, his thought process just comes off super narrow-minded. Like, for him, he seems to declare that he has the nice car in order to get chicks, and then who knows what the person that works out is doing. I mean, it's self-health. Does it make them feel good about themselves? I mean, like he's approaching this in such a narrow-minded way, and everybody does things for certain reasons. There are definitely some dudes that are working out to get bulky as fuck just so they can attract chicks that because hey, it's about the look. Some dudes work out because it makes them feel good about themselves. They like to see themselves in the mirror. There's definitely a lot of dudes that like themselves more than a lot of women like them. There's definitely those.
I agree.
There's definitely
These light skinned motherfuckers, Cassie. My bad.
well, you know what's interesting about that? So my Bari is light skinned too.
I
You know,
forget
so,
I know, but I'm
but,
like, well, I mean,
what?
you don't know.
my coworker, and he's a dark skinned black man. It's really funny because like me and him are pretty cool, and I feel like I have a pretty good idea on his personality, but our other coworkers don't. So they were telling him like, "Oh, you should start like a fitness channel," and I was just like, he doesn't like working out. He only does it so he can look good. He's like, yeah, I do it so I can look sexy for the women. And I was just like, okay. It's like there are definitely people who do
Hey,
it
whatever
just for
your
the
goal
looks.
is.
But like there are other
Right.
people who do it, like Cassie was saying, for their health. Like they just wanna have a better physique. They want to be healthier. Like you don't gotta be super jacked to be healthy, but like
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
just
like,
saying
one of
that
my
guy
friends-
looks he looks underweight in my opinion. And
Hey,
that's not
Luca.
like that. Hold on, that's not a dig at like how he looks entirely. I'm just saying he looks like he's underweight and he should gain a couple more pounds in order to match his like height. Like he looked kind of short too though, so maybe not. I
Or his
mean, what do
head
you
size.
guys
or his head size.
It's like his body wasn't. He just. I mean, am I like out of line when I say he looked underweight for like?
No.
Yeah, he looked
you're
really
right.
underweight. So I like for me, I'm just kind of like maybe you want to go for like more health reasons, or you could just perhaps consume more calories because he looks a little.
Honestly, he looks like a kid. I'm sorry to have to.
Yeah.
You have the body of a little boy, and I don't find that attractive personally. So
he looks like a walker. He's a walker. You know what I mean? Those are people that just walk or
6 years later, you know,
yeah, like they're not really trying to tone
everything.
themselves. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like they just go morning walks.
One of my good friends, he works out because like he's very into fitness because he's allergic to penicillin, so he wants to stay super healthy in order to avoid situations where there's a bunch of medicines he can't take. So that
I'm allergic to penicillin as well. So.
Personally, the gym, to quote one of my favorite quotes ever, health is wealth.
Yes, it is. Health is, shout out to the Lords, shout out to Cog.
Shout out to Cog, because health is wealth. And that's why I'm like, okay, get everything in order, because the healthier you are, the later on in life, obviously it gets harder to get healthier. The older you get, stuff starts slowing down. So it's like, get there now, and then you can have a nice long back half of your life and enjoy more of what has to offer. And so I'm like, okay, but that's it for me. Do it for my own personal health, not because, oh, look at me. Could I do the muscle? Like, yeah, I could, but does it interest me? No, because it looks mad. And you see the people who are super jacked, that looks mad uncomfortable. But like, you can't put your arms down to your sides properly. Like, how would you sit down? It just looks mad crazy. So it's like, no, just keep it health as wealth and just keep it pushing.
People like us, it's not uncomfortable, Singer. People like us that has this physique of muscle tone and definition. This is just our natural thing. It's how we walk.
Yeah, no. Muscle tone and definition's fine, but it's when you.
I'm bullshitting, by the way.
I know, no, but I mean, muscle and being toned, and but not being ripped. Like you just had a steroid jammed in your ass, and you're pumping the weights like
There's show muscles, and then there's like muscles for like with a purpose. Like this, there are people who work out with a specific purpose to work on core aspects of their body for certain reasons. If you're into martial arts, you want to make sure that certain areas of your body are as strong as possible, so that you're able to accomplish certain goals within your martial art. There are people who they just want their muscles to look good, but they're not really strong. Is it like they don't really have that like core strength, and more likely in a fight, like they look like they could probably do some damage, but they really can't. So it's like all of this is like stuff that people who actually work out would know, but not like some kid who's just like, oh, you go to the gym, I still can take your girl. Like, it's like, you don't know anything about why people go to the gym. People go to the gym for a multitude of different reasons. And some of them just go there just to lose a little weight. Some of them go there to look jacked, and clearly that's their goal is to pull the opposite sex. And some just go there because like they're actually trying to achieve specific things. So it's
yeah. So I just think I don't know. I think he has a odd approach personally, but Lionel's like, there are definitely girls who will go with him for money. We already talked about that. Like Singer was the one who broached that topic initially, where he was like, girls will choose dudes because of money, and they will. And we've talked about that already. So, but we're talking about why this guy feels like his looks don't really matter.
He can pull any girl. That's crazy.
Baby, you can't pull any girl. You know what I'm saying? There are some girls who are like, maybe I've thought. But he definitely can, because he definitely can pull some girls because of money. So.
No, I'm sure if he turns up outside the nightclub in his McLaren, he's gonna have all kinds of girls.
To me, that's not pulling a girl, because at the end of the day,
it's pulling a whole. Okay.
My question is, where are you taking that girl to? Is that McLaren literally everything you got?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming if you have the money for the McLaren, you probably got a house as well.
No, man. I know people
if-
that's got very nice cars still living in people's basements.
Hey,
Well, I mean-
have you ever heard of Hood Rich?
Right, exactly.
Unfortunately, I'm not up to date on American terms.
Okay, so Hood Rich is like,
So-
I mean, you got like all the exterior stuff look real expensive, but you live in like in a broke down apartment in like the worst projects in your area, and you not really like what you was. It would have been smarter for you was to like not spend like $10,000 on your rims and instead like put that as a down payment on a home.
Yeah,
But like that's like just there are a lot of people out here who be flexing like they actually got money like that and they don't.
Oh,
So-
okay. So it's,
what were you gonna say though, Barry?
Oh no, I was just saying that I don't really feel like that's like you're pulling a girl or anything. It's because it's like you're not really showcasing your personality, anything. You're just showcasing like worldly possessions. And how far is that going to get you? Yeah, you might get that one night or whatnot, but it's not really like you're going hard. You're not really going on a hunt, like, you know, showcasing your skill of like talking to the opposite sex and be like, hey, you know, what's up? Here's how I feel. Here's how I flow. It's just flaunting. You know what I mean? It's not, to me, in my definition, that's not really like pulling any you know, girl in that.
well, here's the thing.
Pulling the girl in the club ain't
Pulling a girl over here is I'm going out on the town and I'm going to go pull a girl. Like, I'm going out to the nightclub and I'm going to pull a girl. Like, that's what it is. It's, you know, if I'm going out to find a girlfriend or a significant other, then, you know, I'll be going out on a date or I'll be going out looking for whatever. But just trying to pull a girl, that's just, you know, pull up at the nightclub, just, hey,
I'm going
you
in.
know,
I'm going
wanna
in Twitter
come on-
Spaces. That's where I'm going.
Shout out to Mr.
Yo,
Two
wait, what are you laughing at? What are you laughing
Shout out
at?
to McLovin, flex on him, baby. But yeah,
Wait,
no.
what is this?
You know, we just move on from that. So I have another video for y'all. So let me just go ahead.
Oh, man.
I'm scared. What's
So
next?
we all, I mean, maybe not. Have you guys seen that video of Michael B. Jordan
Ooh,
confronting his a childhood or a high school bully? They used to call call him corny in high school, and the
Tease him,
chick
yeah.
was trying to like deny it. She's like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad. I didn't say that." And he was like, "No, chick, you definitely did, right?" So
No, I've never seen that. So this got me interested.
She's the one that actually triggered the memory too, because she mentioned like, "Oh, it was old high school," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. The one that called me corny." Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Luca. Play it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this.
all right, give me 1 second. Oh, you guys haven't seen that clip going around?
I haven't seen it now.
I haven't seen it.
I was told of it, but I didn't actually see it.
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, like he's been acting since he was like, he had to have been in high school when he did The Wire, right? Because like, I mean, he played a guy that would be a teenager in The Wire. He looked like a teenager. I mean, clearly he could have been older, but I'll have to double check it. But like, I mean, I can't imagine a girl calling him corny. Like, bitch, I was on The Wire. The fuck you talking? Like, I mean, like, I couldn't imagine like
She was
someone
one of those.
saying
She's one of those girls that probably didn't watch The Wire.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are you know, going overboard with their conclusions with this video. Like, I felt like he didn't do anything wrong. Like, yeah, he addressed it. It's like, yeah, I remember you, because the interview was like, yeah, you know, we went to high school together and now you're doing big things. Like, yeah, I remember you. You used to call me corny in high school. And I mean, she's like, oh no, you should play it off. But at the end of the day, he still kept it professional as far as answering the questions. Like, he didn't was like, oh, you call me corny, fuck out of here, I'm gone. Nah, he stayed there and finished the interview. So I'm trying to find out, like, where are people finding it where he's corny for that, or he's wrong in the wrong for that? Where
From the way someone told it to me, like, it just can't, like, I honestly was like, damn, he must have felt so satisfied to be able to, like, because yo, that clearly left a lasting impression on him that people called him corny. I mean, back when, you know, he was just a regular average person, from what I'm assuming.
Well, no, like he was yeah, he had to have been like a teenager or something when he was in The Wire. So hold on, let me go
Yeah,
ahead.
he's 36 now. The Wire was 2002. And he died in the first season. Spoilers. So Yeah, he was 15 years old in The Wire.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about it.
We know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark. Okay.
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name, but yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How is the difference between you actually?
So yeah, that was the extent of the
Stand on your
interaction.
square, girl.
That's it.
Yes.
People are
Why?
getting on him for that.
Why,
I
really?
don't think there's anything wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with
Nah.
that.
I mean,
If anything, he don't even seem like he that upset about
He
it.
ain't.
Honestly, he just kind of just like
Why would
poking
he
fun
go
at
for it?
her, and that's it. You know, he just letting it go.
All right. So let's go ahead and watch this part.
Let me tell
Is
Dog,
this
you
a joke?
doing that to a girl is some corny nigga shit.
I can see that.
You being
That's
Michael
true.
B. Jordan today, allegedly
I
sexiest
wouldn't have
man
did it on my-
alive
I
in
wouldn't have
all
did
of
it
these
on my-
blockbuster movies
I agree.
during your highlight week. You've probably never been more visible than you are right this second. And that's what you do to her. And if I bring back them white girl rumors, then it's going to sound even crazier. Because why you talking to our sisters like that on the red carpet? We only talking to white bitches like that. But I'm not going to make it racy. They say I make everything racy. That was corny of him to speak to that girl like that.
I'm not disagreeing. I would have made
Michael B. Jordan, that's why niggas call you corny.
Off air. I would have made a joke off air like word.
Hey, Creed.
You know
Hey,
what
what's
I'm
this nigga's name?
I wouldn't have did that in front of
Hey, Creed. In case you were confused, that corny ass shit you did is why niggas think you corny.
Yeah.
In case you were off a little bit as to why you niggas keep thinking that money hides corny.
Okay. So just to be clear, this is this guy. I'm talking about
Right.
protecting our black sisters. This is my boy with the abuse allegations
the
out the
receipts.
wazoo
Yeah, right. I
Right.
have
from
to
different
address
years.
Joe is this guy is, I don't know what's wrong with him, but if he's talking about corny, he's corny as fuck. Like I've stopped listening to Joe.
The thing is,
Budden.
Joe Button would do the same thing in the same situation.
Exactly.
I don't.
He would have went even further.
Even
Yeah,
further.
honestly.
You would have.
like the fact-
really,
the
truly,
audacity.
he finished out the interview, was professional with it, and it was like he didn't really take any jab at her. He just said, "Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you was one to call me corny, cornball, the corny guy, right? You know what I mean? That's it." And it kept it moving with the questions and whatnot, and that's it. I don't really see that as a corny thing. But we know the real intentions, the real reason why Joe Button is attacking Michael B. Jordan right there. Because he's messing with like a something that Joe Button was messing with, a girl that Joe was messing with, and Michael B. Jordan bagged it. So that's why he has those, harsh.
So he's hurt over an ex.
Yeah,
That's
So, yeah,
how mad
Queens-
corny, Joe.
Queen's Flip exposed him. Queen's Flip was like, "Yo, Joe, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know why you mad at Michael B? Because he bagged your, your chick. That's all."
You better
Mad
check,
corny.
man.
I mean,
Joe Budden.
Joe's been mad corny anyway. That's why seeing this now and he said this, and it's like, dude, you're literally talking to a mirror. You are corny yourself. So I don't know why you're going around calling people.
Yeah, I don't know why you bringing racing into it. You know what I mean? That's somebody he went to high school with. Whether she was white or black, Hispanic, Asian, like he would probably say the same thing if that memory triggered. Like, yeah, you don't want to call me corny. I don't think
Because
race had to do with it.
me personally, I would have done the same thing. I'm like, wait a second. Weren't you making fun of me in high school? I do remember you. Like I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
you're
mean-
not gonna pretend like we're cool. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
say, "Oh, we went to high school together," and like try to use my clout, baby
It's like,
boo. Like, it's just
word?
not happening. Like,
It's-
yeah,
it's
like
like, you are absolutely right, Luca. If she would have never said that, he probably would have never even brought it up. But she tried to act like we were so buddy in high school. This is my high school friend. Like, no, you used to call me corny. You didn't even give me a time of day. Like, and she's like, oh no, we're not that bad. Now look,
Yeah, she said, no, misquote.
I was misquoted.
but
Nah.
let's keep it going. It's just like the fact that people are getting on him for that, and then Joe, I slapped women around Button talking about like don't treat black women like that. Like, how about you don't hit black women, you dumbass? Like, stop it. Like, yeah, the hypocrisy is too
it's
much.
actually like insane to be honest. I'm like, brother, because when I first saw the clip, I was like, wait a second. Weren't there like abuse allegations going around with this guy? Like, what are you talking about, bro? And
And people say in the chat that the girl who did the interview is his friend.
yeah, that's what Arcade Joey Lino was saying. Like all that, all them. But yeah, so yeah, I just think it's really goofy. I think first of all, Michael B. Jordan is very sexy. Okay, I will say that. You know, am I going to go watch Creed 3 for him and Jonathan Majors? Yes. Yes. Of course, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh,
like
also,
Why you laugh
also-
like that? What?
what do you
Yeah, I
saying?
sent the Queen Flip video if you wanted to play that.
Oh yeah, I'll play that.
And Luca, also, if you notice in Button's like little like rant, he was like so-called sexiest man. I'm like, who does that?
Jealous?
Right, who does that?
What man brings up so-called sex? Like, who does that? This man jealous.
Yeah,
He
comes
is.
off
He is
like
he is very envious of other men.
he comes
You
off
can
like
tell.
Michael B. Jordan is being petty, but it's like if you're going to be no better than what you think he's being, then why are we even talking? Just move on. Like for me personally, like I've been made fun of in grade school so much for playing all sorts of sports, for playing video games, for watching anime. You know how dragged I was in grade school by all the other girls? Like, you know, and if I had an opportunity like that where I'm like a big shot and they're interviewing me, and you know, how many times I got called a fucking lesbian before I even knew what the term was, just because I'm, you know,
A
different.
tomboy, yeah.
You think I would you think I wouldn't take that moment to be like, oh yeah, remember when you called me a lesbian when I was like fucking 11 and I didn't even understand what the term was, and now you're gonna sit here and be all nice to me? Like, you know, like those things leave a lasting impression on someone. Clearly it left a lasting impression on him. And if he wanted to have that moment, I mean, you clearly had your moment with him back in the day and making him out to be like he was corny. So hey, what goes around comes around at the end of the day.
It really does come off as like jealousy, especially since he was in The Wire at such a young age too. Like that's 15 is like what, sophomore, freshman, something like that.
Sophomore. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Imagine calling the guy that was in The Wire corny. Like,
yeah, they were probably just jealous, man.
yeah, pretty much.
Shout out to Stones, been a member for 5 months, saying Luca's my best friend and I love her. I love you so much. Thanks for coming through. So let me go ahead and share this clip.
Wait, hold on real quick. Why are you breathing for, nigga?
You about to pander again.
I don't give a fuck.
A lot of people love her.
No, I don't. I'm not. First of all, fuck you. And I'm gonna tell you why, because I wanted to say this earlier. Never call a nigga corny and let him come up, because this is what happens. He's gonna call everybody else corny, and he's gonna bother everybody else because y'all called this nigga corny. Leave this nigga alone. He's not corny, okay? So maybe he can start keeping it real and be a little more nicer.
Y'all know Michael B. Jordan. Stop.
Wait, hold on real quick. Why are you breathing for, nigga?
Oh, I think I sent the wrong clip too. My bad.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I don't think this is.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm just like,
where's it gonna get to the part?
I was anticipating too. I was like, wait, is it
Man,
going
you got a bunch of clips over there, huh?
That's Easy Shock saying she at the end said, "Well, you're not corny anymore," to dig at him again. So yeah, like I said, I think of it as it's like fucking jealousy. To be honest, like I think it's like a jealous sort of thing personally. Like they saw that he was making something of himself, and kids are cruel, man. You know what I'm saying? So I would, of course, my thing is, again, I think the issue is like because she was trying to play it up like they were friends or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was like, yeah, I was the corny kid to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna show that clip because he says a lot of things I cannot show.
But you get the context. That's as long as you understand the context.
I'm talking to Geekhead. He wants me to show that fucking super racist black guy. I'm like, I can't show that, dude. He's calling people crazy shit in it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's being deliberately racist. But okay.
You're a hypocrite.
Can I tell you why that's a
You
bad
mad because
example,
Michael
too?
B. Jordan fucked your bitches.
Oh,
that's what it is, and you hating on the nigga. The corny player came up and fucked your bitch, nigga, and that's how I feel, nigga.
Yo, I have I don't know what you're talking about.
You ain't gotta play that.
Oh man, he got completely different energy when he said that.
Straight to the floor.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what you're talking about, motherfucker.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Corny dude got your girl.
That actually might be an issue with podcasting with people who don't really fuck with you, because that That's pretty bad, man. Like that's red for
yeah.
fucking filth, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Holy shit.
I wonder what kind of conversation was happening off air after
Yeah,
that.
for real,
He ain't
though.
gonna be a guest no more.
He ain't gonna never be on that show again. He'll
For
be like,
real.
"Whoa, what the bro?"
All right,
I
let's
see you in 2 years, brother.
shit, let's get these channel member topics and get the fuck up out of here, dude. So I missed my topics from 2 weeks ago, so my bad. We're gonna start with that, and then we'll do the other one.
You got an hour and a half left, but go ahead.
Oh, I mean,
ahead,
the channel member topics usually take forever, dude. So,
Yeah, they do.
you know. Okay, so shout out to Slomo saying, "What's the best game? What's the best movie and best TV show you've seen and played so far this year?" All right. Oh, I've not watched any new TV shows. The last show I was watching was Hannibal NBC, which is an amazing fucking show. Please, if you are a fan of Silence of the Lambs, please check out NBC's Hannibal. I believe it is on Hulu. It is a fantastic fucking show. It's I promise you, it is very, very good. So I've not seen any like new shows related to this year. Best game from this year, Dead Space remake, and best movie. I've not seen too many movies. I'm gonna go see Scream soon, so there's that. So we'll see. But I've not seen any movies lately. So, all right, best game, best movie, best TV show, Slow-mo.
It's
Yes, it
sad
does,
because
Rodimus.
like this was 2 weeks ago and I don't remember what my answers was going to be. But look, all right. So look, best game I would say so far this year would be Hogwarts Legacy for me. Best game. Best TV show. Damn. You know what? Come back to me on that one. But best movie. No, you know what? Come back to me on best movies. I need to think about it because, like, I can't remember what my answers were, but I had answers. I'm telling you, I had good answers. But they were
all right.
Personally, so I saw the new Puss in Boots movie. I'm not expecting much of it. It's really good, really good movie. It's awesome.
Thank you, Cassie. Yeah, that movie is awesome. That's the best movie I've seen so far.
Puss in Boots.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I love cats. My best friend loves cats, so we went to go see the movie, and it was kick ass, man. Definitely. As for game, I have to go with Hogwarts Legacy, man. That game, the story, I really enjoy it. The performance on PS5 has been really, really good overall. Visually, I like it, and it's inspired me. The narrative is good enough to inspire me to go do all the side content in this big open world game that definitely has a lot to do. So that's been pretty fun and keeps impressing me. And as for TV shows, I don't have time for TV shows, man. So I can't really be bothered to watch them.
All right, Nautical.
Movie wise, haven't seen. No, I haven't seen anything. TV show Last of Us, love that show, and Dead Space for game.
Singer.
Okay,
I
so
would pick Destiny, but that campaign was trash.
for game, I would have to go Fire Emblem Engage. For TV show, anime counts, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so in that case, the best show I've seen so far this year would have to be The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel War in the North. Because it's critical to the story of the entire game. Great show as well. And then movie would have to be actually I haven't watched the movie so far in 2023.
The movies you have watched probably were trash.
No, the last movie I watched was Avatar: Way of Water.
Oh no, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fullback. Okay.
All right.
Well, that movie was bad too.
For video game, y'all already know the true magic game for Spoken is the best video game I've played.
True magic game.
Absolutely.
Okay, are we talking about games that came out this year or games that we just finished this year?
I thought I said this year.
Games that came out this year.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. I guess that's fine.
I mean, Slomo's the one who made the question, so.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because I was thinking, like, movie-wise, nothing's really came out this year.
That Megan movie came out this year, right?
Yeah, I watched Megan. I like Megan, but I'll give Ant-Man the edge as far as movies I watched so far. I didn't think it was as bad as people make it seem, even though I didn't think it was as good as people were seeing. And
Yeah.
TV show, Last of Us. I think Last of Us is a cool TV show.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, I agree with Cassie about Puss in Boots. Watch that movie. That movie is really good. It's not
The
just
villain is dope.
yo. It's the bounty hunter. Yeah,
Yes,
he's amazing. It's great. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
I'm gonna definitely scoop it up.
This TV show didn't really come out this year, but I watched it for the first time this year, and it kind of kept me riveted. You guys ever heard of Mindhunter on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was about these FBI agents that are like defining. Yeah, they're the first profilers. Like they're defining what is a serial killer and like finding them, and like serial killers that have been operating in the United States for years undetected. They're like catching them and stuff. It's really good.
Yo, I've read so many books on like profiling and psychology of people. The way you see me look like weird like this, don't worry, I'm profiling you. Yo, I was such a nerd. Yo, shows like Lie to Me, the original Mindhunters.
Lie to Me is so good.
Lie to Me is very good.
Yo, the original Mindhunters movies, it wasn't the greatest movie in the world, but I love that movie to death. It got me into like reading mad books about that stuff. Man.
Is that the one with LL Cool J?
With LL Cool J in it? Yep.
That movie sucked. I did like it though. It was a bad movie, but I liked it.
It was a bad good movie, in my opinion.
A bad good movie.
Yeah, but watch Mindhunters. Mindhunters is awesome. If you're a little, it can get a little dark, but it's not as dark as like watching Dahmer on Netflix or something.
Ugh. But yeah. All right. So let's see here. Shout out to John the Don saying, is there really MCU fatigue, or is it an issue of the MCU formula taking priority over quality control of production on these projects? After watching Quantumania, I feel like they know people will keep watching and just do the bare minimum to keep the money train going. I personally am feeling some MCU fatigue, but let me tell you something. After WandaVision, I will never get over this shit, dude. I'm sorry. But after WandaVision, I'm like, we'll see if I'll be watching this shit. And then after Multiverse of Midness, I was like, oh no, I'm not watching
don't
any
disrespect that movie. Luca, I will find your coordinates and kicking your shit.
Okay, let's go then.
Barry, you cannot defend that movie. That movie
it's the best one in this phase so far, in my opinion.
What?
I love bro. If I love Doctor Strange, and I felt like what? We're not gonna get into the whole conversation. Let's answer the question.
I will say I'll jump on the fence with Barry. I did enjoy the film, so hey, I'm with you there, Barry.
Multiverse of fucking Midness, I was like, I'm not watching any MCU film day one. And after Multiverse of Midness was fucking Love and Thunder and Quantumania.
Oh, Love and Thunder! Oh my god,
trash
that's
till
the worst
oblivion.
one to come out this.
I cried. I cried in Tears of Thunder how bad it was, because Thor is like my second favorite superhero all time, and I hate Ragnarok. I hate Love and Thunder, but I don't think it's fatigue, but I think the formula is the same. They, in these serious moments that they have within the movie that you are anticipating and you're waiting for, they have to prop this fucking Michael Bay joke in there. Or what's the other dude that is now on the DC dude, the James Gunn type.
James.
James. I'm just like, yo, knock it off, man. Knock it. Yo, I remember watching Shang-Fu, right? And at the end of the movie, the best friend, Shang-Chi, my bad, and she became like this fucking archer, and she's making a joke, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
She became an expert archer in like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
man.
She
literally pulled shot one arrow and was like, "Yeah, I got this."
And they made a joke out of it. I hate that formula. You know what I mean? I feel like they need to go back to the seriousness. Like they had the jokes in the first phase, but there's also when it was serious moments, they were serious. But this is what's selling. I think they're going off. As I agree with Gian, it's going what sells and makes money. But I hate it personally.
Well,
I think it's a bit of both with the fatigue. I think there's some people who kind of feel like they're kind of like in a hangover after Endgame, and for them, they kind of just wanted it to end, and it's still going on, and they have like no desire to watch more MCU without Robert Downey Jr., without Chris Evans. To them, like those actors and their characters really what drew them to it, and so like for a lot of people, I think they're just tired of watching something with characters they don't really care for. But I do agree also about the whole quality control issue. I think as the midness, as Luca calls it, quality control issues all across the board. There, continuity issues, stuff that doesn't make sense. Scarlet Witch defeating the entire Illuminati by herself. The Illuminati going out the way they did. Like freaking Mr. Fantastic being the dumbest idiot in the world. Like, hey, he's gonna yell at you. You better stop. He might as well have said that. It was just like, it was so stupid.
Yeah,
It
I
was
might
just
issue
like,
some of that.
and I hate plot-based storytelling. And I've said this before, but like when you have characters act out of character in order to reach a certain end result, it's just bad storytelling, period. And I can't stand it, and I see it so much in this phase 4 that it's just it's lost its luster at this point.
Yeah, go ahead, Cassie.
For me, it goes way further than just MCU fatigue. I am superheroed the fuck out already. Like, I am over comic book movies at this point. I'm tired of seeing bastardized versions of the things that I grew up reading or playing video games of and all that. I'm just tired of it. And as a fan of film, like, I love film. I'm inspired by film. I feel as though superhero movies is literally holding back the medium itself from, going forward. It's just a crutch at this point. I would love to, honestly, I avidly support all these movies failing just because I want to see Hollywood strive to do something different for a change. I'm
Girl,
tired
have
of,
you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, aka best movie from last year?
No, I
That
haven't.
movie's awesome.
That movie is fucking
I heard
phenomenal.
it's pretty interesting.
It's amazing. I saw it the first time I saw it. I had no idea what was going on. I cried. Then I saw it again with my mother, and I also cried. Okay, that movie is fan-fucking-tastic. So if you want something that is genre-defining, go ahead and see Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's to all of you. Go watch that fucking movie. That movie's awesome, dude.
I might
Best
watch it
movies
again
from last
tonight,
year.
honestly.
Exactly, as you fucking should, dude. As you
The
should.
movie's really good.
But okay, but anyway, a shout out to El Huayto, wanting us to talk about the Norfolk train derailing. Was there something specific you wanted us to talk about regarding that? Like, so in East Palestine, Ohio, February 3rd. Let's see here. Norfolk Southern freight train derailed, and they were cleaning up chemical spills, I believe. Yeah, it was. I mean, what exactly? Oh, wait, you're gonna have to please if you hear this later, if you could expand what you wanted us to talk about with that, like exactly. If
What,
there's
the train derail thing?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Okay, I'll explain it. So, like, there were within 1 week, there were 2 trains that were transporting hazardous materials across state lines that derailed. And the reason why they derailed is because the United States infrastructure is so trash, and the our politicians are in the pocket of the companies that basically buy them off to keep them from holding them accountable for making sure that the infrastructure is good. That these derailments keep happening. There are trains that are like way out of code that haven't been inspected to make sure they're good to go. There are tracks that are like falling apart. Like it's pretty bad. And so the 2 derailings were basically things that like were destined to happen at some point. When you don't spend any money, you just keep pocketing all your profits, you don't spend any money on the actual things that you should be spending it on. And the fact that they both happen back to back really just kind of highlighted put a spotlight on them to the rest of the country of like what's really going on here, because there are like little towns in Pennsylvania, and I think the other one was in Louisiana, I think. But these little towns that are near where these derailments happening, like it could have been a massive chemical like environmental issue where people would have had to evacuate a town in order to not like be there. Like the town almost couldn't like not exist anymore. So like this kind of stuff's got to get like taken care of, because the last thing we really need is like some chemical spill that, due to a derailment, becomes an explosion and a bunch of people die. You know, so that's
Cool.
I think that's what he's talking about.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you expanding on it, man.
No problem.
Shout out to that guy Smitty saying the ABK deal. LOL. JK. If you can go back in time and change one decision, what would it be and why? I would go back and, you know what? I wouldn't go back in time, to be honest, because like I listen. I have seen too many fucking movies, man, where you go back in time to change one thing and that shit just ends
Butterfly
up
effect.
just butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Shout out to Envy Dub's been member for 27 months saying, "What's up, Scumcast? What's up?" But yeah, I would like, yeah, exactly. The butterfly effect with Ashton Kutcher. That movie was so fucked up. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm so good on that. If you guys have other opinions though.
Uh-oh, tell them deets, man. Why y'all scared? Huh?
I regret spending 2.5 years in college. Is the biggest waste of my fucking time. Honestly,
fair.
What was the question again?
Yo, Slow-Mo, don't ask that question again, bro.
What was the question you just asked?
Oh my man.
This is the third time that you've asked this, so we're just gonna move on. Okay. All right.
Oh man.
I don't think there is.
See, I ain't gonna tell me what the question is.
Nope.
Oh, what would you change in your past? Like, if there's anything that you would change in your past,
If there's one thing,
one decision, yeah.
Was apparently is asking what the question was.
I think you should change your lack of memory for everything. I think you should change that, my boy. I think you should change the first time.
My lack of memory.
I think you should. Hold on. I think you should change the first time we met and you pronounced Bakugo's name that crazy way. How about that?
Why you bring this up like once a week?
How did he pronounce it? No, you got to tell me the dates.
It was something fucking insane.
You don't even
remember.
Insane. And I'm not
going
to repeat it.
It left a lasting effect, like that
thank
chick
you.
calling Michael B. Jordan corny.
Exactly. Like, I will never.
You know what?
Listen.
It's all deflection because she knew I was right, and yeah.
That's fine, but you can't. Like, you're like, this is my favorite character. What's his name?
You said Bayuko or something?
Like some crazy fucking shit.
No, I said it right. Ish.
He didn't say it right at all. It's the same.
You knew who I was talking about.
No. He said, okay.
It was close.
Hold on. This is like a normal occurrence for him. Okay.
It's not that normal.
Yes, it is.
Here we go. It's really not
yes,
that.
it fucking is.
You just make a big deal about it every time I mispronounce someone's name. You just go,
You're
oh my god.
You're not even just mispronouncing them. You're fucking spelling the name incorrectly as well. Okay,
You
so
knew what I was talking about.
We were talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses.
I knew
and he
you-
called. He called. Okay, mind you, their name is Byleth. He's like Blethe.
How did you not get that?
Who is Blethe?
I typed it, man. I couldn't remember how it was spelled.
How did you not get Byleth?
I just put some letters together. I knew she knew who I was talking about.
Hey, Slow-Mo, all you gotta say is players mess up, man. We mess up all the time. You know what I mean? I botch words and names too, man. You know what I mean? But Byleth, that's the name, right? Byleth, I think the name
Yes,
is.
it's Byleth.
Byleth, yeah.
And like, not only did also he was all like Blythe, the same like the same 24-hour time period when we were talking on the phone. He called them Blythe, and I just didn't correct him.
It doesn't matter. In the game, they don't even call the character by their name. They just call him the professor. Hey, professor.
Anyway,
so I mean, like, do you just want me to call the character professor for now?
Well,
on?
I want you to call the character by their name.
When I can't properly pronounce something, I literally botch it in the most dramatic way on purpose.
Mm-hmm. See,
but
I got to make a joke out of it.
Apparently,
Then I
that's terrible,
correct myself.
Cassie, how dare you?
Okay, first of all, she does it on purpose to be funny. You do it because you can't remember anything. Okay,
Maybe I do it on purpose
No,
too.
you don't.
Maybe
No, you
I'm
don't. No,
hard
you do
selling
not.
it.
Yo,
so
what
that
was the
you get
question that
this
triggered this again?
Who knows?
Got him. Got him. Damn, Slow, what's bad, bro?
All right. Anyway, we can just move on from that.
I'm old, man.
Shout out to this week's stuff. Slow-Mo's like, who's playing Wulong? I downloaded the demo because I think Connor wanted to play it like a year. He was talking to me about playing it a year ago. He's like, oh, we should play it together when it comes out. He doesn't remember saying that. I vaguely recall it. So I downloaded the demo to see what's up. But I'm not playing the actual game yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't play
Game Pass,
too
baby.
much.
Yep, Game Pass.
It's in
I'm gonna
Game Pass?
Pass it.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
Game
Shit.
Pass.
Yep,
Oh.
I'm gonna Game Pass it. Yes,
I'm about
sir.
to hit up Connor and be like, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm getting this on Xbox. Never mind. All
Oh,
right.
he wanted to co-op with
on my
you.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is,
messed up, Luca. That's messed up. Friends over Game
sir,
Pass.
are you gonna pay for my game, buddy boy?
Whoa.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Whoa. Let's slow down there.
Slow down here, bucko.
But nah, I ain't played Wulong yet. It's too much. You know what I mean? That I
The
want to
game, though.
complete. Yeah, too much, man. Too much.
I started it even though I'm like juggling a bunch of games right now. It's cool so far. I think I've never played Neo. I've never played Neo, but I see a lot of people saying it's close to that. But like faster. It's definitely like, especially when you get into the boss fights, combat is much faster than what people would expect, or even kind of
More
like
free
Sekiro.
flowing than Neo.
Yeah, right. I like it. It's very focused on deflecting encounters. Like you have to get your parry game down, especially when you get into boss fights. If you can't parry, you ain't gonna have a good time. Which is, I've seen a lot of people trying to get past that tutorial boss and just getting bodied. It's pretty funny. I should be maybe like 6 or 7 attempts, but I beat that the tutorial boss, and it's been cool so far. I don't know how much of a play
that translates to about 10 attempts. But go ahead.
For me, PC Game Pass is like a glorified like demo.
The main draw for me is the fact it's based in the three the Three Kingdoms era of China, which is fantastic. Because if you play Dynasty Warriors, you know all of these bosses like Sun Ce, Lu Bu, Sun Jian, Dong Zhuo. Like, you know all these people, and that's what's drawn me to it, because I absolutely adore Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, I used to play Dynasty Warriors back in the day.
Oh,
like I used to rent them from Blockbuster. I used to just run. I used to love just running around and you just swing your spear and like 20-foot soldiers just go flying.
You just go ham on people. It's a great power fantasy game.
Yeah, but it's got all the same characters in there. Even some of them are like your companion partner that may join you, even though they don't do much of anything, but just kind of be in a way. But they'll just be with you, as you go through, certain areas and stuff. But it's don't ask me to say no names, because I ain't gonna get the name right.
What, you've never played Dynasty Zhuge Liang?
Listen. We ain't gonna have this whole nerd talk that y'all having right here, man. Y'all talking about the dynasties and all this. Let's go.
Three Kingdoms. What? So you've never played any Dynasty Warrior game or been interested in the Three Kingdoms era of China, where Wei, Wu, and Shu fight over who controls China?
I did.
Then just join the conversation and stop being all pissy.
I mean, to be fair, Lu Bu is my favorite.
I was channeling my inner Luca. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
I remember playing Dynasty Warriors Gundam on 360
and
destroying my 360 controllers just because Domon Kashi was in the game. That's my boy.
Yo, Domon Kashi, yes.
Hell yeah.
Now we talking. That's my language. We talking now. Now I'm prepped up. Let's go. Y'all want to continue that?
No, because it's a terrible spin-off. No.
I actually enjoyed that game.
You guys are so much fun. I love your energy and your excitement, y'all. But okay, so Sir X-Man wants to talk about season 3, episode 1 of The Mandalorian opinions. Has anybody seen it?
I didn't know season 3 was out. It's out.
It just came out Wednesday.
Damn,
it was a good episode. Good first episode. It's straight continuation from season 2. So if you guys missed out on season 2 and know him, well, I don't want to spoil it. If you guys
spoilerinos, baby.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
But it's actual direct. So it's a continuing what he did in season 2 and trying to rectify certain things. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's all I'm going to say, because everything else is going to be a spoiler.
Well, I got something to watch tonight. I was going to watch Anything Everywhere all at once.
Everything anyway.
Y'all knew what I was talking about, man. But I think I'm gonna watch that instead.
I think I'm gonna watch that tonight too, because I haven't seen that movie yet. I'm gonna buy it on iTunes.
It's very, very good.
it's worth a buy. I remember not even renting it because it was out of theaters by the time I decided to watch. I just bought it on Amazon, and it was well worth the $20, man.
It's very, very good. I'm like, and they had initially they only released it in a few theaters, but like it got so many positive reviews, and people just were going to see it that they re-released it. So it's
she
it's
won an
worth
Oscar
it,
for
man.
it too, right? I forgot the name of the actress. I think she won Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
and the her co-star who was when he was a little boy, he was in Indiana Jones, and I think it was the which one? What the one was it where he had a little Asian boy with him? I can't remember which one that is, but he's
you
that
talking
little
about
boy.
Yeah. That's you talking about dude from the Goonies.
Yes, that's him.
The
Yeah,
gadget guy. Yeah. I know.
Yes, that's him. His
and
him
then
grown up now. He's in that too.
he stopped acting for a really long time because especially for like Asian males, it was very difficult to get work. And then they had him come back for this film and a couple other things, and it was just like, it was worth it. He's a good actor, and that movie is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, so Smitty wants to talk about internet bullies exposed. Okay, listen. I'm not even going to let the rest of the panel speak on this because I don't want it to turn into something. Okay, I'm going to make things very clear. If you're referring to what I think you're referring to, I'm not talking about that shit. I've talked about it before. It's been a year and a half. I said it in a space today. The fact that people are still talking about this is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that people are still giving it any play is absolutely ridiculous. Everyone who is still involved in this nonsense, you are the architects of your own destruction. You caused your own issues. When it comes to if people don't like you, oh well, like there's nothing you can do about it after you address it the first time. Continuing to try to address it is pointless. Interacting with posts discussing it is pointless. Even liking tweets or laughing about it, all you're doing is putting a target on yourself because they're going to be looking at who's looking through the stuff like, oh, who's liking this, who's replying, who's interacting. They're going to see who it is, and then they're going to shift their views to whoever it may be, and they're going to target you, and it's going to be a problem. So if you want problems, okay, you deal with it yourself. I'm staying out of it. Keep me out of it. I got nothing else to say, and we're going to move on. We're going to do channel members shout outs, and then we're hopping on out of here. But Cassie, thank you so much for coming through. I'm gonna let you go first because you said you had to go.
Yep. So it was awesome being on Scumcast. It's always a good time being here.
It's always nice to have you.
Yeah, it was good conversations all around. Great panel. Shout out to Jay Bari, always good dude, and shout out to everyone else, man, pulling up. It's been a while since I've talked to Slow Mo and Forte and Dead Singer. We was in Solidcast server together, so it's good seeing you guys as well. Thank you so much, man. So much fun. If you want to tune in what I got going on, Cult Classic Cage on YouTube or Twitter.
Hey, yo, Cassie, I got to ask you a question before you go, too.
Shoot.
Okay.
Man.
I see that you're doing a lot of watching for the first time movies and things like that. Have you ever watched Hook before?
No, I never.
What?
No.
Oh, man.
Cassie,
What?
send me your coordinates right now.
Oh my god!
Right now.
Oh, okay. I'm checking Prime Video right now. I'm gonna see how much this costs because you need to watch this.
Man.
Man.
I could definitely do.
What?
Wait. What you mean? What is Hook?
What is going on?
What did Luca just ask?
What is Hook?
Hook.
Yo, Luca, don't play with me.
It's
don't play
$4 right now.
What is that?
Hook is my favorite movie of all time. It's Robin Williams, playing as Peter Pan growing up.
No, I have seen this. No.
And Dustin
good
Hoffman as
form?
Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yo, Slow-Mo, I always knew you were the man of culture. Yeah. Yo, listen, I legit watch that movie like every month. It's a traditional.
Goddamn, every month?
Yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time. Favorite movie of all time. No cap.
Is amazing. Matter of fact,
Jay
that's
Bari.
what I'm watching tonight. I'm watching Hook tonight.
I gotta shoot you, Jay Bari. I gotta shoot you invite to my Discord server, and then we can do a fucking watch along, like a watch party for it on the Discord.
Listen, if you want to watch that movie, I'm down because I know every single word in the line in that movie. I will quote that whole movie.
It's on
like
HBO Max right now. It's on HBO Max.
You're gonna have to mute me. You're gonna have to mute me because I will quote each line in that motherfucking movie. I promise.
You're like Bari, please. I'm trying to watch. You're like, no, listen to me too. All right, but okay, but Cass, thank you
Good
so much
form,
for
good
coming
form,
through.
good form.
Of course, man.
Okay, so let me get these channel members. I wanted to do her outro just in case. But shout out to Tevin and H Dog who became members. I appreciate you guys so much. Kisses. Shout out to Derek, Cassie, Stankmaw, the Hawk, Jack, Spencer, Blue Mustang, King Metrotron, Lionel, JB Cash, Meat Puppet, Scrotum, Phil, Alex, DQ's Blizzard, John the Don, Smokes, Jarenza, Stardust, Outlaw, Risk It, Stone, Dexflex, Starbuck, Drav, Kitty, DC, Texas, Perfect Shogun, Mike, It's Me Baby, Big Daddy, Smitty, Long Game Larry, Iman, Plus on the Block Podcast, L White, Sub Negros, or X-Man, Dragonheart. Did I say Dragonheart Yovi? MJ, Jazzy, Erotimus, and Bandy, Damian, Dom, Strictly, Sir Duck, Sycamore, Zion, Danelle Breesky, Corey, Light, Strife, Jay Bari, Arcade, Papitio, Nautical, Jet, Brandon, Envy, Jarrell, Slomo, and Hannibal. Shout out to you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Nothing but love and kisses. Shout out to all the super chat support. Love you guys. Shout out to everyone who hung out in the chat. Loved you guys. I do want to say again, okay, Gregor left after that fucking Final Fantasy conversation, I think. I am so sorry, Gregor. Like, I didn't mean to say my bad. It just slipped out. You know, I love you still. You're still one of my main dudes. So
he'll be fine.
You know,
But
anyway.
speak from the heart, Gregor. Speak from the heart.
He be slandering the panel every
That's
week.
true. He does talk shit every week.
Don't be scared of Luca. Don't be scared of Luca. Okay.
There's nothing to
Speak your mind. Okay.
Like,
you know,
listen,
don't be trying to bully my peoples out here.
You can't be scared of anyone with thumbs that small. I mean,
true.
Like, they can't,
you know,
really
I am
can't do
4'11".
anything to you.
You know, I posted I posted a picture of myself, and Cassie's like, "Bitch, how small are your hands?"
Like, look at this. This is like, and then it's like, I feel like if we did one of these, it would be like this.
Oh
my
man,
hands, they're pretty small. They look normal on the camera, but they're pretty small in general. So, anyway, you know,
don't worry, Gregor, man. It's all good.
I'm just trying to figure out why Slow-Mo got pictures of your fingers on his. Never mind.
I'll explain it. Right. I'll explain it.
I just don't get that.
Hold on, I'll explain it. She sent me. It was either a manga or
it was a light
anime.
novel.
Yeah, it was a novel or something. And
A certain scientific railgun number 9.
Fantastic.
Right, and so I was like, "Oh,
I
okay,
knew you
cool.
were my ninja for a reason, singer. I fucking knew
And
it."
scientific railgun. Oh, an accelerator.
And index. Okay,
Yes.
A man of culture, honestly. But I'm sorry.
I'm always a man of culture. Yes.
Okay, that's great. So like in the screenshot, she has her hand in it, and like I just kept being distracted by the thumb because it was just like
what?
It was so tiny. So I was just like, so it was. I don't know what it was. I think back then we was always picking with each other on everything. So like I just zoomed in on the thumb and I made it my profile picture. So I literally haven't used it since then. But I made it my little icon picture on the
and Lucas snitching herself because we didn't even know that was her thumb.
Crazy. Exactly. I knew she was going to do it too. I didn't even say anything. I was going to post it up there and wait for her to realize it. She was like, "Why is my thumb on there?"
I mean, that's perfectly fine. Again, like I got you for not being able to pronounce names. You got me for my thumb. So you know, win-win.
Yep.
Whatever.
Okay.
I was like,
that's what friends are for.
That's what friends are for.
Good times.
Yeah, see now we vibing. We about to do another podcast out for.
Oh no, this ain't what, man. This ain't what.
We do not want to hear Lucas sing. That's something that we definitely don't want.
Me and Nautical can sing together.
We can do it.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
I'm here for it.
I am not here for it. I will leave. I've had to leave before.
I know. No, go ahead, Slow. Do your outro.
He said I had to leave before.
Great show, y'all. I had a fun time as usual. Enjoy your games. Check out DPS from last Thursday on Forte's channel. We had B Money, aka Be Knowing Ish 101. And we had Creative Kofi on. Had a great time, great show, great opinions and great topics. So check that out. And DPS will be on my channel as well as the DPS channel. If you can't keep going back and forth, you just go to the DPS channel. We dual stream it now. So Thursdays 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And have a great weekend.
Wait, you guys
Appreciate you
actually
as
have
well,
a DPS
Yobi.
channel now?
Yes, we got a
Oh,
DPS channel
send
now.
that, you gotta send that link, man.
I
I've
mean,
been waiting for y'all to
people-
do this. I've been
Put
waiting
it
for y'all
in
to
the
do it.
chat.
Yeah, you posted in the chat, man. Okay, so Nautical
Yo,
repping the scum, the scum
Rocking the
gear.
scum
You know what I'm
gear?
saying?
The
Scumming it up.
LOS.
Yes.
Yeah, great show. The only thing that sucks about this show ending is a one step closer to having to go back to work on Monday. Good God, I don't want to do that.
Vacation's almost over.
Yeah, vacation's almost over. But yeah, Slomo already said most of it. Check us out on DPS. Check out the YouTube channel. Talk about a whole bunch of stuff over there. Other than that, man, just enjoy the games you're playing. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun with your friends. Have fun with everything else, and you have a good day.
Why did you post it 3 times, Slow?
I don't know, man. I just feel like
He
doing
always does
Struggling,
it.
Oh, no, I got it.
Okay, Singer, always lovely to have you, my boy.
Oh, always a pleasure to be here, chatting up with the fam and one of my favorite ponies, Jay Barry. You know, coming on, chopping up. Always a fantastic time. Shout out to Cassie coming through as well. Have fun in the Discord. Fantastic time. And you can find me at Death Singer everywhere, playing video games, unlike some people in this community. Yes, sir.
Play games?
Oh, I know it's a foreign, concept. You get the game, grab your controller, and off you go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming through, Barry. I always love having you on, my boy. If I'll have you on more if you actually want to come through. I just don't ask people because I figured no one wants to hang out with the Ashen one. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh man,
no one ever wants to be on my panel.
Stop it.
Oh nah, Luca, you always cool people. Even though when we first met, you try to come at my neck. But,
First of all, I said whatever I had to say, and I was right to say it.
She can't reach your neck. She was coming for your kneecaps.
I was right to say it. I was right to do so. You know what I'm saying?
No, I disagree with Erica's video. That's all I did.
I'm just saying,
You know what I mean?
listen, if you're gonna talk about my girl, I had to make sure she knew I just had to make sure. I was like, hold on. Tag her directly, sir.
I was in the supermarket. I'll try to type in Erica Cuts, but it wasn't populating, and I was like, you know what? Let me just say the name. But whatever, right? I appreciate it. Like, it was a fun time being on here. Scumcast, always a good time being on here, to be honest with you. And if you guys did enjoy it, hit the like button and show Luca some love, man. That's my peoples, that's my homie, and I wish her the best and everybody that's here too as well. And guys, DPS, I definitely subbed up too, man. So yeah,
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I subbed as well.
Make sure you go check out that almost 4-hour show that those guys had today too, trying to get us to go. I was like, listen, I was like watching. I was like, this show was like, what happened this week for 4 hours to go down?
I noticed that.
I looked at the
sometimes me and Persona we get a little passionate, man. So there's certain things like Final Fantasy 16. The whole Luminous production is Forspoken. We go in on that stuff. And real talk before we start the show, it's like an hour before, we talking about spotlight games and things like that. So
it's a good show. Very good show.
I want you to explain the monkey behind you because I saw the short that you posted and I saw the short and I want you to explain your little friend behind you on top of your PSVR 2 box.
That's a good question now for it. Being on camera now, I want to be a little bit more personable, with the audience. And I decided to share, one of my great friends since I was like, 10, 11 years old. That's Rufus right there. Oh, wrong point. Yeah, that's Rufus right there. And I found him in a box of like all my collectibles because, I moved here in this place like 3 years ago. And certain things, I just stacked in this room. This room is like my storage, gym, gaming room, work. I store it in here. And I was just cleaning out some stuff, emptying some boxes. And I was like, Rufus! I ain't even gonna hold you.
I think he did. He probably did sound like that.
It
was like Andy. It was like Andy from Toy Story.
I ain't even gonna hold you. I got emotional, dog. So I was like, yo, he gonna be a part of the podcast. You know what I mean? He's gonna be a prompt every single time. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm 30 years old and there's a plushie right there
As
behind
you
me.
should, King.
Hey, man,
As
shout
you
out to you,
should.
bro. I laughed when I saw that short.
Finding old toys is always great. I remember
Yeah.
finding Optimus Prime, and I almost cried. Like I was just like, but I mean, I was still kind of a kid. I had like hid it from my cousin, and you know how like you sometimes you hide stuff and you forgot where you hid it, and I couldn't find it for the longest time, and I just chalked it up till I lost it. Then like 5 years later, I found it, and I was just like, "It's Optimus, yes." Yeah,
I still have my
that's
Gen
all
1
good.
Optimus. My oldest brother, he took it as his collectible, but he's missing an arm though.
It's missing an arm though.
All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys again. I'll catch y'all for another one, more weekly videos. I just wish something would happen. It's been kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like we had things to talk about this week, but I was just kind of like, you know. But anyway, catch y'all later. Peace.